Kaneshi, Odoka, Butoburan, Kasua, Tiamapot. Oh man. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we'd like to say a big welcome to another great presentation of the program Ashford Garley Live on this beautiful Tuesday night as we come to you from Detroit. Some heard the name, some heard people talk about them. Well, you've gotten the opportunity tonight to see him live. Don't be selfish. Share the video, invite a few friends so that we can all have a great time tonight. As always, we bring you the political soccer game between the ruling party and the opposition. But we are going to be a little specific tonight. One of the collaborating political parties is in the news. ANC, the Alternative National Congress, is in the news. And Mr. Cummins is in the news tonight. We are going to be giving you a little start between President Weir and Mr. Alexander Bay Cummins. What happened in 2017? What has Mr. Cummins learned from the elections in 2017? So, we've got all kinds of goodies in store for you tonight. But first, as always, folks, stay home, stay safe, and we all will go through this together. This too will pass. COVID-19, social distancing, frequent hand washing. Believe you me, folks, your life matters. The lives of others matter as well. I know some heard the name and some heard people talk about him. Well, this is a brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than the lion. That's why they call him the giant. One carpet, the golden voice of Liberia. Tonight, we are coming away from Broad Street, downtown Broad Street. When I look to my left, I see the old Educational Main Street, which is now called the World Trade Center. When I look on the other side, I see it, Rivoli Cinnamon, King Burger. In America, we say Burger King, but in Liberia, they say King Burger. And towards my left, I see the Finance Ministry tonight. I also see the old multicolor. So we are in downtown Monrovia tonight as we bring to you Ashford Garley live on BridgeRadioAfrica.com. Folks, grab something to drink. Invite a few friends. With that said, let me go to Information Highway and bring in Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts, who is standing by. Perhaps she will go through a few comments, and after she gives her intro, Mrs. Roberts, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. How are you?
Good. I'm doing great tonight.
Wonderful. Good evening and welcome to another beautiful Tuesday edition of Bridge Radio Africa with your host, Ashford, the Giant Garley. Thank you for choosing Bridge Radio Africa as your choice of information and entertainment. As we go through another beautiful Tuesday, we hope you had a wonderful day. As the weather is getting nice, we know people are still trying to get out, do little things as the country is opening back up. But one thing we ask that you do for us tonight is that you please share this broadcast, as we have a lot of goodies to share with you. Note, this platform is for a matured audience. Please be respectful of each other. Please be respectful of our guests. Most importantly, please be respectful of our host. We ask that you please subscribe to Bridge Radio Africa, as we have lots of goodies, as I stated earlier, for your viewing and informational purpose. Again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at bridgeradioafrica.com. We also ask that you please, or feel free actually, to sponsor any of our programs, or just bring your announcement at a nominal cost. We can share it for you. Again, thank you for sharing. Thank you. Grab your meal of choice, your drink of choice. Make yourselves comfortable as we have a informational evening for you. Thank you, Mr. Garley. Back to you.
Thank you. Again, that's the voice of Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts out of Information Highway. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we want to go to West Africa, Liberia, where Miss Angel Morris is standing by with the news headlines. Miss Morris, hello and welcome to the show.
A very pleasant hello to all of our viewers, listeners, and fans of Bridge Radio Africa, and as well as you, Mr. Ashford Garley. My name is Angel Morris. I would love to welcome you to our major news-making headlines across Africa. So this evening, we have 5 African countries that we have featured in this edition, prioritizing Liberia. So we have Liberia, we have Madagascar, we have Sierra Leone, we have Nigeria, and that of Guinea-Bissau. To start with Liberia, the collaborating political parties comprising of the All-Liberian Party, the Alternative National Congress, and the Unity Party today signed a legal framework document with a call on leaders of each political parties to put their differences aside and work in the interests of the Liberian people. So according to these political parties, the former objectives of the CPP, as contained in its constitutional framework in the Article 4, among other things, calls for the presentation of a single presidential ticket and a legislative candidates for all elections leading up to and including 2023 general presidential election, to forge and support a common national interest and to present a common political agenda to the Liberian people. Still in Liberia, we have the Central Bank of Liberia, CBL, has joined the fight against COVID-19 in the country. Today, the 19th of May 2020, they made a huge donation to the Fulton Military Hospital in Margibi, and Major Kowo, the commanding officer of the Fulton Military Hospital, received the donation. Lastly, for the Republic of Liberia, we have the country has reportedly reported a total number of 233 confirmed COVID-19 cases, 23 deaths, 125 recovered cases, and 85 active cases. So we now go to Madagascar. In Madagascar, we have the president of Madagascar has urged his citizens to protect themselves and families from the novel coronavirus by drinking the COVID-19 organics produced in his country. An organic herbal beverage he claimed would prevent or cure the virus. We take our tour now to the Republic of Sierra Leone, and this one says Sierra Leone has a total of 519 confirmed COVID-19 cases. We have 33 deaths and a total of 148 recovered cases. In Nigeria, the federal government says Nigeria is not ready for total lifting of lockdown. Hence, the first level of easing will be in place for the next 2 weeks. So I'm speaking at the daily briefing of the Presidential Task Force. Boss Mustafa said a lifting despite small gains will amount to a high risk. So also in Nigeria, Nigeria has officially reported a total of 6,175 confirmed COVID-19 cases, 1,644 recovered cases, 191 deaths, and 4,340 active cases. So we have Guinea-Bissau lastly, and this one says Guinea-Bissau's COVID-19 cases have risen to 1,032 after 42 people tested positive for the coronavirus disease in 24 hours. The Health Emergency Operations Center confirmed this today. And this is a high increase in the number of confirmed cases, as the country had a total of only 54 positive cases by April 30. Lastly, for Guinea-Bissau, we have Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged to support Guinea-Bissau and keep the West African nation politically stable as it attempts to move on from a divisive presidential election. So that does it for our major news making headlines across Africa. My name is Angel Morris from Liberia, Monrovia, and it's over to you, Mr. Garley.
Okay, Angel Marriage, I want to say a big thank you, as always. What else is in the news? What else is trending in Liberia?
Well, today it was an awesome day. Today the collaborating political parties, we all know the Alternative National Congress, the Unity Party. We also have the All Liberian People Party. Today they came together to sign a legal framework document, and according to them, this document is going to make sure that comes 2023 general presidential election, there should be only one person on behalf of that whole collaborating political parties representing them. So they have come together, and they also said today that they are coming together is for the betterment of the Liberian people, and they are ready to put aside all differences. As it was reported something like last month or so, there was a tussle between the chairman of the collaborating political parties, Mr. Benino Ure, and that of the political leader of the Alternative National Congress. But today they actually settled it, and it is all cool now. And according to them, they are going to settle these differences because they want to ensure that the Liberian people have a very, very good leadership comes 2023.
But Ms. Morris, you've been into the journalism business for a long time, and you witnessed political activities in Liberia. Do you really feel and think that this collaboration is going to hold? Given the fact,
Well,
given the fact that,
yeah, go ahead.
given the fact that most Liberians, they have had past history of power struggle. Everybody wants to be in leadership, and they are not saying definitively that you know this is not yet a measure. And I listened to quite a few of them today. They're saying this is just a paperwork, something written in black and white. If the thing we're looking for, if it doesn't hold, then we'll have to revisit the table. So coming, looking at you, that's a journalist who have been in this business for quite some time now. What is your take?
Well, Mr. Gale, first of all, I want to say I was happy today seeing all of those people coming together to actually sign that legal document. But what is my take on this whole scenario, or let me just say this whole signing of this legal document? Well, I want to say the only time I am going to believe this whole thing is 2023. But at this moment, that was just an ordinary document that was signed. And, people usually say laws are meant to be broken. So perhaps before 2023, there might be some hitches, there might be some problems, and those documents might actually go out of use. So I cannot assure the Liberian people or our followers that yes, these people are going to come together and whatever they said in that document, it's going to hold. No, we're going to see that comes 2023 or so on and so forth. But at this moment, I cannot 100% give the assurance that these people have totally come together, because owing to the fact that Mr. Benina Ure has longed to be a president of Liberia, likewise Alexander Cummings, he wants to be a president. Also Joseph Boyka, he wants to become a president. Nobody wants to be a subordinate to another person. So this is where the problem is going to come from. So we are just hoping and praying as they have come together collectively and said, okay, this document that we are going to sign, or this document that we have already signed today, one person is going to go on behalf of the collaborating political parties. So, well, I want to say something, Mr. Garley. We live in a political world, especially for Africa. And looking at Liberia from our own perspective, I think the only way these people can actually defeat President Weah is for them to come together. And what they are actually doing at this moment, I want to say a bravo to them. And I just hope they are going to continue. But if the mistake to just go away from each other like they go their different ways, they aren't going to succeed, because President Weah still has some followers out there.
The voice of Angel Morris of British Radio Africa. I want to say a big thank you and enjoy the rest of the night. Okay, Angel, thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Garley.
The big question tonight, folks, can the CPP hold? In the middle of the game, we introduce to you our special guest, Mr. Steve Bowley. And this is one of my all-time favorites, by Morris Dolly. He died in his own country at a displaced center, which is now the health ministry in Liberia. See how we don't take good care of our own. A veteran, Morris Dolly. The voice still lives on. We are coming to you live tonight from Broad Street, downtown Monrovia, folks. I can still see Monte Carlo. I can still see Rivoli Cinema, not Rivoli Cinema. Yeah, Rivoli Cinema, right? On Broad Street? And I can see King Burger. We call it King Burger in Liberia. It is called Burger King there in America. I see the finance ministry. And I see the education ministry now is called the World Trade Center, downtown Monrovia, folks. Right behind me there. I see KLM. Oh, man. Hey, Mama Liberia. At this time, we want to go back to Information Highway. Mrs. Lexi Brooks Roberts is standing by to give us a few comments before we introduce the lineups for both teams tonight. The opposition against the ruling party. Mrs. Roberts, if you are there, can you please just pick up a few comments and then we can come back and do what we have to do tonight.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Garley. We have Mr. Alston Carpet watching. Abraham Newland, he says, hello, bro. Carl Pinot, he says, I'm watching. Chelsea Russell, great. Quebec Princess Howard, hello, Bridge Radio family. Lamoto, hello, Ashford the Giant. We have Unbreakable Howard watching. Charles Russell, let me share. Wheeler Amigwe Boiler is watching. We have Wheeler, he says, Ashford, Garley, the Giant. We have Quebec Gay Floor Bolly. She says, hello, my dear. The Prince Mo is watching. Lord Bless Son Robert just joined. Ruth Gaffey, I'm on time tonight. Franklin Malia, hello, bro. Josepha Shaw Thomas, hey, what's up? Long time. Franklin Malia again, watching from Minnesota, USA. Tim Kaluba is watching from Dover, Delaware. The Prince Mo, hi, family. Charles Russell, watching from work. Aaron Jockey, hi, Mr. Garley. The Prince Mo, nice background. Unbreakable Hawa, hello. Steve Foley is in the house. Ruth Vafley, hello, Giant, as always. Sarah Putuweyi, GE family, happy to see everyone again by the grace of God. Love you all, family. Ma Duopelo son, good evening, my Bridge Radio family. Joining you from my kitchen in Surprise, Arizona. Juanita Say is watching. Charles Russell watching from Popo Beach in Nuku Town. Wow. Melvin Diggs, Pekin, you like your background, or I like your background rather. Princess Chosen, that who this lady talking? I'm new here. Please welcome me. Roland Payaway, I am here. Bridge Radio family. The Prince Mo replying to Princess. Princess Chosen, you are highly welcome. Magnus Say, watching from New Jersey, the Garden State. Tara Putuweyi, ESG, I am going to find you because you didn't tell us that you were taking some time off. Please report or respond to my messages. Because we, the Bridge Radio family, need to hear from you ASAP. Love you, our First Lady. Oscar Ernesto, following from Turkey, Istanbul. Adaha Adonja sit what? Adaha Adonja sit Umo. Liberia is a beautiful country. Josepha Shai Thomas, watching from beautiful Maine. Sylvester Constance, watching from North Korea. Mike Swingbe, Great job, Angel. Henry Moba replying to Josephus. How you doing tonight, boss? We have Miss Rosa Parks watching.
Two more.
Josephus Shy writes again.
Just give
Ha
us
ha ha.
three more comments, please.
The CVL government protecting his job. Governor, rather. Okay. So we have Miss May Carter watching. Natalie Pritchett is watching. Musu Benson, I'm watching you now. Mr. Duke Estrada JJ is watching. Mr. Sekou Kane is watching. May Carter writes, I'm watching from New Jersey. Last but not least, we have Rufus Wilson. He says, hello, Original Giant. Have you heard Obama, Joe Biden, and their crew of advisors planned coup against President Trump before and after the elections of 2016 and continue until now. Still lying now. They are getting more exposed. They're still not relenting and refraining from lying. They say that they are civilized and democratic, but the Democratic Party is playing the opposite of democracy. Back to you. That was a mouthful.
Thank you. And folks, I'm telling you tonight, unseating George Ware or unseating President Ware, it's going to be a dull fight. Are you ready? And folks, we are a little confused here tonight. We heard about the framework. What does that mean? And some of the experts are in the building tonight. They are going to help us understand this. When I saw Mr. Ure, Mr. Cummins, Ambassador Boycott, the Honorable Kanga coming together today and fixing their signatures for the framework to come together. You know, with plus 23 political parties in Liberia, you know this is not going to be an easy fight. But first off, the four collaborating political parties have got to hold together. And it is our hope that they do hold together. And for the first time, I saw the different side of Mr. Ure today. He was on the softer side. He was not the usual Ure that we knew, you know, that would come out and demand it, and be condescending. Today he was different. I saw the same with Senator Kanga and the Godfather himself, as always. Joseph Yuma Boycott was, as always, in his calm delivery. And then I saw leadership in Elizana Cummins, where he threw a jive at Ure and said, my man, don't let your height fool you. Not because you're tall, you're big, but you're still my little brother. I love it. But one thing I respect about Mr. Cummins, he has been very consistent. Mr. Cummins has said in the past, folks, And you don't want to go into a race and hoping to come second or hoping to lose. You go into a race to win. With that, he has said in the past that he has no problem having the coalition, but he strongly believes and continues to believe that he's going to be the one to be the head of the coalition. And journalists have been in the position to ask him over and over. They put it so, he put it so. They play that, he played that. He said, "Look, I won't be a leader. I want to be a president." And coming together as the four collaborating political parties, folks. Mr. Kumi has a lot of tasks on his hand now. He's now the chairman of the CPP, a position that he will hold for the next 8 months. Didn't we tell you last night? Now, I want you to listen and listen well. When you are together in the collaboration, you have to work well with your peers, your partners, and convince them as to why you think you want to lead the collaboration of the coalition. And from the experience of Mr. Alexander Cummins, he has traveled all over the world. He held big executive positions, corporate positions, not only in Africa, but in other parts of the world. That alone has prepared him to be in a leadership role. The Cummins has said from day one, I have no problem in coming together in the coalition, the collaboration. But I would not be part of a collaboration that I cannot lead. I am going to be the leader. I'm going to have to be the one to govern that collaboration or the coalition. So in the event where he doesn't have the opportunity to govern, what would that mean? And you will hear Mr. Alexander Cummins in his own words tonight, speaking on video, live video. And yes, he embraces the idea of collaboration or coalition, but he's going to have to be the one to govern. He would not be part of a collaboration or coalition where he was still in the sideline. He has to govern. You will hear in his own words tonight, folks. Having said that, brace yourselves. Grab something to drink. Get the popcorn ready. Are you on VIP tonight? Or you around the field? It doesn't cost much to enter tonight. Any dirty water can put a fire. Oh, man. One money, baby. Number two money, baby. Oh, number three money, baby. So today we have Joseph Yuma Boyka. We'll also have Liberty Party and that Yumli Kanga. Then we'll have Prince Wild Johnson, Alexander Bay Cummins, Benana Yuri, Neil John, Henry B. Family, Mandela Cooper, Oscar Cooper, McDonald Winter. They will also have Asiwaz. For the ruling party, we'll have George Ware, along with NPP and LPDP. Numbers don't lie. Sounding the framework today is one thing, but getting ready to unseat George Weah is another thing, folks. I'm telling you. We were going through the the statistics today. There were some places where President Weah didn't have the campaign, but he came out victorious. So CPP has got a lot of work to do. The ball is now in the middle of the field, and we're hoping that the match commissioner doesn't cheat today. And guess who is the match commissioner, folks? National Election Commission. Landsman number 1 is the Senate. Landsman number 2 is the House of Representatives. The Supreme Court of Liberia is the chief referee. The ball is now in the middle of the field. The ball comes to Joseph Human Boyka. Boyka, big swarman, posted over the timber. Then the ball comes back to Yomli Kanga. Yomli connects Alexander Cummings. Cummings to Ure back to Cummings. Cummings gets a better hand. He sends it far downfield, intended for Mill Jones. Then to Henry Famula. Will he make it? No, he doesn't. The ball comes to Mandela Cooper. Mandela Cooper to Oscar Cooper. Then he sends it far downfield, intended for Mandela. Went to the ball. Mandela loses the ball to George Ware. Joshua baseball man puts it up for the tournament. The ball comes to NPP onto LPDP back to George Ware. Joshua is moving deep in the heart of the field. Will he make it? No. Joshua connects Prince Wild Johnson. If Prince Wild Johnson is supposed to be part of the opposition, why is he passing the ball to Prince Wild Johnson? Is there something between them that we don't know? Big question. Let's find out. Back to the field of play. Prince Johnson loses the ball, then the ball comes back to Ben Ure. Ben Ure looks around back to Prince Johnson. Will he make it? No, he doesn't. Then the ball comes back to Alexander Cummings. That no-nonsense player. The actions are tough. It might not sound tough, it might not appear tough, but I'm telling you, he didn't make it to the corporate ladder for nothing. He had to be in the position on many occasions to make tough decisions. And that's why he's in the position today. The new chair of the NPP or the CPP, Alexander Cummings, big swordman, puts it on the table. The ball comes to Joseph Boyka. Boyka to Yomli. Yomli back to Boyka. Boyka to Cummings. Cummings to Ure. Ure back to Boyka. Will he make it? No, he doesn't. The ball comes to Prince Wild Johnson onto Ure. Ure back to Prince. Prince back to Ure. Ure loses the ball to George Ware. I think what mistake. Ure passes the ball to George Ware, but I think that mistake there. I hope that he correct that mistake there. Everybody out open now. My name put me down. Back to the field of play. Goal kicker water down till the rooting party. George Ware is on the ball. He's looking around the field. And George Ware is studying the rest of the rooting party people. They should look out for Alexander Cummings. But I just want to say a little something here before we introduce our guests. Take a look at some, every day we'll go to a different leader. Today we're going to start with Alexander Cummings and George Ware. Between two of them, how did they do in 2017? So Alexander Cummings in Lofa County came out with 2.1% of the overall voting in Lofa County. George Ware came up with 7.0% in Lofa County. Thank you for your contribution, Yansan Dolo. In Bakbodu County, Alexander Cummings was there with 4.2%. George Ware, 39.9% in Bakbodu County. I beg your pardon, 37.7% in Bakbodu County. And in Grand Cape Mount, in 2017, Alexander Cummings 5.3%. George Ware 39.9%.
Our Liberian people wish you success.
In Bombay County,
Our Liberian people wish you
Alexander Bay Cummings
Wherever
7.5%.
you go,
George Ware 41.1%.
wish you victory, victory, victory.
In Monserrado County, Alexander Cummings 10.4%. George Ware 41.1%. Excuse me, 48.8%, I beg your pardon, in Monserrado. In Bombing, Arizona Cummins, 7.5. George, we have 43.6%.
Looks like a false victory. Looks like a false victory.
In Magibby, Arizona Cummins, 6.8%. George, we have 40.6%. Bong County, where Arizona Cummins have his running mate from Bong, 5.5%. George, we are 27.1%. Grand Bassa County, Arizona Cummins, 2.6%. George, we are 8.0%. Nima County, Arizona Cummins, 6.2%. George, we are 8.0%. Very close. You cannot win the presidency of Liberia without Nima County. Is they going to Ohio and not winning the presidency and claiming that you were, we lose out or win out in Ohio. River sets 2.8. And I'm saying this because we have to let you know. This was 2017. But Arizona Cummins never left the country. He remained in Liberia. He went from county to county. I'm pretty sure the numbers have changed now, folks. Something that caught my attention. Maryland County, the home of Arizona Cummins. George Weah didn't go there to campaign. Cummins came out with 8,000 votes, 21.6% of the vote. George Weah came out with 39.6% of the vote there. Now, believe this or not, I know some have heard this. Some heard people talk about this. But Arizona Cummins among the four collaborating political parties has been the only one to go back and stay in Liberia, go from country to country and tell the people thank you. The numbers, if you were to ask today, be completely different. But is this enough to unseat George Weah? Don't get me wrong. George Weah is not as popular as he was in 2017. The fact that this man came to power and start to steal and start to enrich himself at the expense of Liberia and the poor Liberian people. The people are angry, they're frustrated. And that is perhaps one of the reasons why Darius DeLon became senator of Monserrado County. CPP has a lot of work to do. I love the energy of Mr. Cummins. I love the focus of Mr. Cummins. But you need to do more. You need to engage more. This is not enough. And you see, George Weah did not inherit what he has now in terms of finances, but he has started going from county to county and building homes. Liberian people can see, especially the uneducated ones. Why can you tell them The man stole $1,000, then he gave you $1. You look at the $1 you never have 5 cents before, and you would take that $1. So this is what's gonna play out as we approach these elections. So you people in the opposition have got a lot of work to do. But my question now is tonight. The game has come to a momentary standstill. No score to either side. No score to the ruling party. And no score to the opposition folks. Do you really think the CPP will hold? With that question, I want to join my special guest tonight. Brace yourselves. Grab something to drink. I'm not forcing you. Anything Garley on your heart to help Bridge Radio with the donation, please feel free to contribute. The cash app is there. And then the water can put a fire. My name will put me down. Welcome. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we'd love to say a big welcome to this special. And the game has come to a standstill that we have with us tonight, Mr. Steve Bowley. Steve, hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. Thanks for having me.
How do you feel tonight?
Well, as usual, I feel at peace, at ease, and I'm calm, cool, and collective. That's how I feel.
Go ahead and do your introduction as always. You know, you can't leave that. We can't take it from you. So the microphone is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. Well, for those of you who are just tuning in, or some of you who are listening via Radio Land in Liberia and other parts of the world, my name is Steve Bowley. I'm originally from Liberia, born and raised. Originally, I'm from Makivi County and Lofa County. It's an honor being here. I like to use the opportunity to let the Liberian people know that they're the most important people. And one of the reasons people think this is a joke every time I say this is because they're not used to hearing these kind of things. But we're going to make it a new norm. We're going to continue to let the Liberian people know that they're the most important people on earth. We are going to continue to say that. And eventually it will sink down, it will make sense, and it will continue to live as important people. I also want to remind the Liberian people, the Liberian women, that they're the most beautiful women on earth. And Mr. Garley, you and I know that's a fact. That's a fact that cannot be debated. Because if that is debated, you know you'll be in some serious trouble tonight. Thank you.
Okay. But man, today we saw something very historic where the full collaborating political parties came together in affixing their signatures to a framework. And what do you make of this?
Well, the first thing I want to say to that is I think anything, for me personally, anything in terms of unity that would promote Liberia, anything that will benefit the people of Liberia, anything that will benefit Liberia at large, I'm in full support of it. So I would say just the thought, the idea, and the coming together alone in itself, because optics are very important. Just seeing four of the leaders and other people there today on the webcam demonstrated to me that indeed our democracy is moving forward. And in this light, I want to say publicly why I'm addressing this issue. I want to say thanks to President George Weah, because it has to take mistakes, it has to take problem, it has to take people to motivate people to do that. And I will say this though, like or hate George Weah, I will say this: people are not keeping track of history. George Weah has always done something that sparked the Liberian people's interest or that put Liberia on the map. Today, based on the mistakes of President George Weah, based on the ineptitude, the incompetence, Liberia is once again on the map. We saw unity today, and I believe and I like what I saw today. And I hope and pray that it holds and we continue on this trajectory, that we Liberians can unite regardless of our differences. We can unite in the interest of common good for our people.
Well, all the last several months, you we sense some type of friction. The disunity among the CPP. But today, we saw that. We saw the very unusual Ben Ure, the Arizona Commons, the Joseph Boycott, and Yombi Kanga, where Mr. Yuri went further to say at a late minute they have to consult with uh, Senator Kanga, and they you saw that togetherness for the first time in a long time. Is it because that this president is not doing what he's supposed to do, and people are fed up and say, you know what, it's not about power this time. We have to do everything we have in our power to unseat this man. Is that what you sensed today when you saw the gathering?
No, not necessarily, Mr. Garley. I think I'm on record of stating to the Liberian people that in every group, everywhere you go on earth, there are 5 stages of group. Every group has to go through these stages. Every group. I don't care what kind of group you form. They must go through these stages. And the very first stage, I told the Liberian people a couple of weeks ago on Sekou Kanen's show, on Sisi Aseni's show, along with Focus on Liberia, I told the Liberian people that a CPP was going through something we call the forming stage, which is the very first stage where people are excited from the beginning. I also told them that they passed the forming stage, they got to the storming stage. Now, in the storming stage, that's where you have power struggle. That's why you have people struggling for power, and this other person won't be leader, that other person won't be leader. It's a natural and a normal thing. It is. So no one should dispute that everybody was just going to come together, everything will be fine. That is not truth. Plus, you are dealing with men. Men by nature, we are authoritative. We have egos, and we want to, lead. We want to be in charge. And then now, I can say to the Liberian people that we are in the norming stage. And in the norming stage is where people come together and they have disagreements, but they put that disagreement aside. They look at the better good and they move forward. And I can say the next 2 stages before the 2023 elections, which I believe will be held in 2023, will be the last 2 stages. Will be the norming, will be the performing stage, and will be the adjourning stage. So we're looking forward to the performing stage, where all of us can put our voices together in unity. We can put our voices together, not only for us to win the elections in Liberia, but for us to uproot also the crooks, the criminals, and those that think that they will slide on this canopy to come to power again and misbehave and squander resources. No, that will not happen. We'll not stand by for that. We'll definitely speak out to the issue. We'll point it out and we'll call them out.
Now, like you regularly said, Mr. Bole, we have 20 plus political parties. Okay, so then we have 4 collaborating parties. President Weir has the upper hand in terms of finances. Granted that the CPP holds, how do you incorporate the rest of the political parties that are out there? How do you convince them to join you? How do you convince them to say, you know what, this president failed the Liberian people, he failed Liberia, he doesn't mean well for the country, there's no investment coming in the country, this, that, and the other. How do you convince the rest of the political party? And mind you now, he's the president, he has the capital. Why are you thinking about going after them? He will plan to go after them as well. How do you survive?
So, Mr. Garley, let me say something that maybe the Liberian people are used to or they are not used to. This will be an information for some, but this for some will be a confirmation for those of us who are Christians. And I believe even in the Muslim faith, where I have a root also, and I understand to some extent the Muslim religion. I will say to you, there is a power in unity, and that power has the ability to attract. So wherever you have unity alone, you don't have to make the case. It will attract automatically. Look, there is power in unity up to the point that God Himself is aware of it, and God Himself acknowledges that power. So for those who are Christian, maybe you can read Genesis 10 or so forth, and you will see what happened when the people decided to build Babylon. It took God Himself to come down the tower of Babylon. It took God Himself to come down. But that's not the issue. The issue here is I want to say the money that we claim George Weah has. It's a serious question, honestly, from my point. The reason I'm saying it's a serious question is I will say, and I will agree with your assertion that George Weah has money. If George Weah makes, again, I send a public recommendation and challenge to the president. if he makes his assets declaration public. We want to know what he came in with and what he has. Apart from that, I don't want to buy, I don't want to subscribe to that idea that George Weah has money or whatever it is. No, I don't want to believe that. Liberian people has money, and George Weah is misusing the money. Then I will agree with that. But to say George Weah has money, I don't want to agree with that assertion until he makes his assets, public. Then I will 100% agree with that assertion. So about the issue of unity, about the issue of other political party coming on board, I would say to the CPP, I would say to members of the CPP and leaders of the CPP, let's stick with the unity. Let's be open. Let have our arms open. Let's be welcoming. Let's be respectful of other people's view, and let's be tolerant. And I think people will see that, and that will draw them to the CPP for a better good for Liberia. That's how I see it, honestly.
How confident are you that the CPP will hold? Because I listened to you last night on the same very platform. You said in the event, you said to the world that you are a member of the ANC. But if the CPP doesn't hold, and if they has to be something that is coming from your political leader, whoever is the problem, whoever caused the problem for the CPP not to hold, you will not support them. How confident are you that the CPP will hold?
Well, let me say this. First of all, let me go back to my statement. Let me go back to my statement from yesterday, and you paraphrase it right. I support Mr. Alexander Cummings for presidency, that which I don't shy away from. I'm proud to support Mr. Alexander Cummings for president of Liberia come 2023. However, my bigger picture and my bigger focus is Liberians in Liberia. And so I said last night that if Mr. Alexander Cummings and the ANC decides to pull away from this document that is signed today, if they decide to pull away, I will not support Mr. Alexander Cummings. I will support whoever emerges as the leader of the CPP. And the reason is I'm focused on the bigger picture. Mr. Alexander Cummings and the ANC had the opportunity to say, I don't want to sign this thing, I don't want to be part of it. So if they get away from it, I will not support Mr. Alexander Cummings for presidency. I will support the bigger goal and the bigger picture, which is to liberate Liberia from the hands of President George Weah and his cronies. But let's go to the other part of your question. The other part of your question is, how sure am I that the CPP will hold? Mr. Garley, let me say here, this is one of the very first time I will not answer speculative question. The reason is this: until I can read the framework of that document that is signed today, to see the stipulations within that, because you see, it is important, because for me, every time I speak, I like to speak with information and be informed on what I'm talking about. So that being said, I would not say the CPP will not hold. I would not say it will hold. I pray and hope it holds, because I will support it 100%. But I want to see the stipulation. I want to see that document, the framework. Then maybe I can lay light on some things that could possibly cause some conflict or that could create problem within the CPP going forward. Because mind you, we have 3 more years to go, and then a lot of things could happen within the next 3 years. So yes, I'm hopeful that it will hold. But yet, I'm not going to throw any bet here to say, oh, it's going to hold 100%. Let me lay my hand on the documents first. Then maybe you can ask me the question the next time.
Your political leader has been on the record. He said there's no way you go into a competition and expect to come second, or and expect to not be the leader. Quite recently, that's a few years ago, I have the video. We're going to play that later on in the program. Your political leader is on tape saying that, yes, he embraces the idea of collaboration or coalition. But for him to be a part of any coalition, he has to be the one to govern. He will not be part of a coalition to be on the sideline. He has to play the leadership role. He has to govern. In this case, he will do everything he has in his means to convince the jury, the boycott, the Kanga, for him to be the head of the ticket. And in the event where he doesn't succeed, what happens, Mr. Bowley?
Thank you, and that's a good question. It is critically important that we clear the air. But before we clear the air, I want to say something, because you asked a direct question about Mr. Alexander Cummings here in the ANC. I want to put this disclaimer out there that I am not in any way, shape, or form the spokesman of the ANC or Mr. Alexander Cummings, but I will speak to the issues. Let's go back to the most recent interview or public statement from Mr. Cummings concerning this entire issue that he had with Sekou Kane on his show. And this question was posed to Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings said to the Liberian people, both in the diaspora and here into the world, that he will support whoever emerges as the leader of the CPP. He will support it 100%, and he's 100% on board. There is no way he is retrieving himself from the CPP, regardless of whatever happens. So I would take that at face value and run with it. Now, let me go back to another point you made concerning him being the leader. And this is where the Liberian people sometimes don't get it and they get frustrated. And I've heard some people saying, oh, the man is too desperate to be president. Let me say it in another way, because maybe Mr. Alexander Cummings has said nobody goes in a tournament and goes there with the idea of trying to go second place. Let me ask all the men and the women on this line, and it will be very relatable. When you go and look for a man or when you go and look for a woman, you want to be second? Think about it. You want to be second? You see, the thing that we don't get is this, though. I love men, I love women who state exactly what they want, because it shows consistency. It shows consistency, Mr.
And I said that from the get-go, because he's consistent, and he never
exactly.
He has been very consistent in saying that.
What do you expect? This man wants to be president. That's what he wants to do. It is his constitutional right and his God-given right to decide what he wants to do. That's what he wants to run for. So you projecting your feeling or your idea and saying, oh, why Mr. Cummings want to be president? He's too desperate, whatever it is. Oh, okay. So because other people are not sitting, they say they won't be president. They don't want to be president because in a half. I want to commend Mr. Cummings, and I will say to Mr. Cummings and every ANC member, anybody that supports Mr. Cummings today, to continue to say Mr. Cummings wants to be president, because that's what he said. There is nothing wrong with it, and it shouldn't be offensive. I think we should embrace it, that at least Mr. Cummings is not jacking, and he's not flip-flopping, and he's not being two-faced. He's strict about what he wants, and he's sticking to the issues. I think that's important. But we got confused people who one day they won't be this, one day they won't be that, 1 minute they won't be like that, another minute. That shows inconsistency, and for me, in my profession, when there is inconsistency and discrepancy, that means something is not right about you.
And speaking of Mr. Cummings and the rest of the collaborators, Joseph Boyka served as vice president for 12 years under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And he said that he was an old car parked. And this is a man who had millions of dollars coming in for 12 years. Yombli Kanga served as senator under Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. There were Booker's concession agreements, and her signature was affixed to those agreements. Benina Ure is a great guy. Don't get me wrong. I have interacted with him. I have a very close relationship with Benina Ure. He's a decent man. He provided job opportunity for people. But there's a stigma on Benina Ure that turn people away from him when it comes to leadership in Liberia. Alexander Cummings worked hard for what he has today. He traveled all over the world, making name for himself to the level of vice president for a major company, whether it's in South Africa, in London, in the US. He earned his money. There's no doubt that this man, wealth is unquestionable. I mean, if you were to put the three of them in front of me, along with Mr. Cummings, Mr. Cummings worked hard for his money. What you cannot question. But people are saying Mr. Cummings is overly ambitious. The man, he just wants to come and become president just like that. Even People have questioned. They have said that the man is not known. I mean, he still has a lot of work to do, and that's just a little thing they have. But some people don't even know that Mr. Cumming lives in Liberia more than he lived in other parts of the world. He spends most of the time in Liberia. Mr. Cumming will leave even in the midst of the pandemic. You saw Mr. Cumming going to Liberia, and he was quarantined at one of the local hotels in Liberia. He continues to spend time in Liberia. This man really wants this presidency, and he never changed his statement. He said, listen, I want to be a president. I want to lead this country. Any collaboration or coalition that go into, I want to be the leader. After what you just heard me say, Steve,
Mhm.
how do you respond?
Well, let me say this though. On the issue of Senator Yomli Kanga, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka, and Mr. Beneda Ure, these are all political leaders. Now, we can state as individual, we can state the issues we have with them. We can state the faults. We can state the problems. We can state the facts about some of the things we saw and how they were in public offices, how they acted, or whatever it might be. We can state it. But here's the truth of the matter, Mr. Garley. The truth of the matter is these guys did not impose themselves in these political parties in order to be leaders. They were elected and selected by people within those parties. So even when they are sent forth to represent these parties, I think if we have a serious question about what are the credibility, the character, and so forth, I will honestly urge the Liberian people, let's China into the party and say, hey, next time, don't vote them in. They got character problems, they got flaw problems, or they don't need to be there. But in as much that they are voted in to come to the table, I will honestly say that's what they presented. Let's work with what they presented. But another point that you made, I think that was very important here is this. This mindset, this idea of this person is new, this person is this person is that, is part of our cultural and traditional beliefs and practices. And I'll have to agree that to some extent, we Liberians are skeptical, especially those of us that live back home. And I respect that. There is nothing wrong with being cautious and skeptical about people. But here is my concern, though. Here is my concern. On what basis do you vote people in? I've heard lots of people say, oh, Jawia, he well known, he went to the refugee camp and he gave people food, and this person and this person. Let me say this to the Liberian people. No amount of prayers can move Liberia forward. No amount of somebody donate this, somebody donate that, somebody give this, somebody give that can move Liberia forward. We must, the first thing to elect any leader, we must check the track records. We must look at the track record. It speaks volume, Mr. Garley. There is in no way, let me say this to you. You think I'm sitting behind this thing here talking today, or you think that you are sitting behind this microphone talking today, that miracle happened for you to just be doing it? No. If we go in your track record, Mr. Garley, this is, look, I was in refugee camp. I heard about you, Mr. Garley. I heard your name. So this is to say that this is not something that you just started doing. And you understand? So when you go into people's track record, you find out what they have been doing behind the scene, you check their character and other things, then you make informed decisions on how to vote. Let's stop voting people based on emotions and sentiments. And this is what we've gotten from George Weah and other incompetent leaders within the Senate, in the House of Representatives, and other people. No, we must change the trajectory of Liberia, and to do that, the mindset must be changed. It will not be done through prayers. So I say to all Liberians, it is okay if you don't like for Mr. Cummings to be president, you don't like for this person to be president, you don't like for that person to be president, no problem with it. All I want to say to you is this. Can you do a little bit of research and find out about the person before you make a decision, and stop basing on what people say about this person? Do research. Find out about them. Then maybe you can make that decision.
Well, the officials are calling us back to go on the field. We'll play some more soccer, and then when we come back, we'll play the voice of Mr. Cummings.
Come on, Liberian people, we choose success.
We're back Back on the field this afternoon at the SKD Sports Complex, folks. I'm telling you, no score to either side, no score to the opposition, and no score to the ruling party. And I see Joseph, you my boy Cap. He's in a low huddle there, telling Alexander Cummings something. What is he telling Alexander Cummings? I don't know. And I also see Youngly Kanga and Ben and you were in a low conversation as well. And while Mr. Cummings and Mr. Boyka were talking, I saw Prince Johnson coming. Then Joseph Boyka just suck a tea and walk away. Why he's sucking a tea for nobody know. See, I don't trust the Prince Johnson man. He coming to he part of the opposition at the end of the day that he the one will be the last one to say, George Weah. The ball comes to Ure. Ure looks around to Mill Jones. Mill Jones back to Ure. Ure to H. Boma Family onto Madida Cooper. Madida Cooper to Oscar Cooper. Oscar Cooper looks around to Madida Winto. He making he doesn't. The ball comes back to Benana Ure. Benana Ure to Joseph Yuma Boyka onto Liberty Party. Young Kanga looks around. She sends a foul down for internal for Alexander Cummings. He's moving deep in the heart of the field. He double troubles. Beast one man, Beast the second moving. He shook. This could be trouble. Way off target. Making it no trouble now. To the rooting party. Then the ball comes by the George Weah. George Weah double shovels. The whistle dribbler, he beats one man. The only thing George Weah is thinking about is that even though I get $1,000 here, I'll get a Popio $1. Those that never had 5 cents before, when they see $1, then they will be happy. I pay 1 2x4 home for them. When election come, then I egg. But George Weah is not thinking about education. He's not thinking about building institutions for people to learn. You say that people living in mud houses, you get them place to sleep, then I egg. And he's also thinking about extending the RIA road project. He said before 2023, he has a prize for them. Then he went to say that around Alexander Cummings' own era in Maryland, he trying to build a road there too, connecting the River G. George Weah is breaking, telling the people that for the first time in 30 years, Kakata Magibi can't get electricity now. The real lesson is they're ready on you're jumping the people. What you're trying to say, what you're trying to do. George Weah baseline, sends a foul downfield for NPP onto LPDP. LPDP loses the ball now. The ball comes to Alexander Cummings. I said, everybody just checking on Cummings Neil. I said, man, yeah. Even though he just coming, but I mean, he know more about library than most of you. And that's what they're saying here tonight. Cummings looks around to Ure. Ure about to Cummings. Cummings back to Ure. Ure about to Cummings. Ure Cummings to Boyka. Boyka to Youngly Kanga. Kanga back to Cummings. Cummings looks around. He's moving deep in out of the field. Where he making the hit, does it? The ball is way off target. And the game has come to a momentary standstill this afternoon, folks. No score to either side, no score to the opposition, and no score to the ruling party. And I just saw we're going to bring back, before we bring it back, Mr. Steve Bowley, we want to go to Information Highway and pick up a few comments. And there are some people here who are in VIP, and I believe Mrs. Lexi Brooks Rabbits is standing back. I see Josefa Shaw Clements. I also see Yumo Throw Krenga. Bento Hunter is in the building as well. And I see Abu Bebeto Fofana. They're all in the building this afternoon. Mrs. Lexi Brooks Roberts, could you please read out a few comments? And before we go back to our guest. You know, COVID-19 time, I saw people that leave the job, walk away from the area.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Garley.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have from Boyu Smith, he says, in reference to my brother Moses parable or analogy, he gave you use a persuasive method. If you want to have sex with a woman even if you enter the room with her, You don't rush to take her under closed off. Oh,
I don't think I was
all
supposed
right. Angel, my dear, these jokes and gay club want to be president to distort our little boys and girls. We need some of that. Never sleep with little boys and girls for president. Abu Babida Fafana, he says, the giant, C, aka one copy. Enjoying you, brother. Keep it up. Josefa Shah Thomas, we need schools. We need a president that will make Liberia to to feed herself. Quebec Geflo Borley, before the walk, he or she have to crawl first to me. Rachel Johnson, I was on Bujuburam camp, never saw Weir. Siafa Anderson, we heard, oh, we need to stop this. All they want to be president. Let him go into doing something else, like opening a company and employing thousands of Liberians, and then we will know what he really wants to be. Henry passed away. Now, or how many people on this platform receive food on the refugee camp from George Weah? Please put your hands up now. Angel, AAD for president. I think she means ADD. Samuel Garson Williams, please play M. Josh coronavirus song or audio president. Alex D. Desso, you know it, sir. Nyombi Kanga Lawrence and Ure are from the Charles Taylor team. Nyombli and Ure are looters. Augustine Bala, Mr. Cummins, is another dictator. The man got the short man syndrome. Potitek Waterside. Cummins can become president because he did not save the people of Montserrat County from Senator G.B. From Franklin Roosevelt, replying to Florence, here we go, typical Liberian, quick to throw insults. You just said Cummins will not be president, period, quote unquote. So I thank you, madam. Election results. Elizabeth Bawand, I am from Grand Bassa County, and I'm also a member of ANC, but I can't support Madam Kanga. Prince K. Wellingilling, Steve Bully, you should firstly set the record straight and correct Ashford H. Garley misrepresentation of Alexander B. Cummins Jr. position. Cummins didn't say he must be the leader of the CPP. He said he's not in it for second place, but will base his decision and position on the choice of the Liberian people and will work hard, even the hardest, to make the case to the Liberian people. And even in the event the Liberian people choose to go with someone else other than him, and the process to determine that is fair and transparent, and by that will of the people, and by the will of the people, he will support the choice of the Liberian people. He recommended that the best way to have the people participation, not through the handpick of just few individuals. That is why Cummins recommended the voters' perspectives survey as an instrument in going to the constitutional primaries for the leadership of the CPP. I agree with Cummins on that, and I think it's the best framework of it
more
of the
comments.
viable success
Two more
of the
comments, please.
CPP.
Two more comments.
Whoa. And from Samuel Garson Williams, he says, why can't you ask the president to make his assets public before asking someone else? Celia Adjavon, is it by force he should become the president? James Colley Jr., bravo, brother. Please make the case to the Liberian people and Honorable Cummins, the next president of Liberia. Celia Adjavon, that is how people were running all over here saying that we had money. Potek Waterside, poor men without respect shouldn't be voted into power. Augustine Bala, we need Mr. Cummins to publish his assets as well before becoming leader of the CPP. Florence Colley, Cummins, please continue your business in Liberia and forget about to be president. Forget about being president. Okay? Siafa Anderson, but what have he done for the country to be president? Smith Dawie, Cummins is a very fishy character in Liberian politics, can be trusted. Alex Deso, Kanga Lawrence is the worst in the CPP. Let Nyambli give back the 6,500 she took illegally in the Senate for which she apologized. We want our money back now. Jacob 2, we hold all facts constant for now on this alliance. So let's see what the next 1 or 2 years will look like under this merger.
One more comment, please.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Just do one more comment, and then we'll go back to that was to the guests.
Okay, and then we have Celia Adjavon. She says, Ashford Garley, stop promoting Cummins here, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Garley.
Okay. Again, I am not promoting any particular person. What I see, what I hear, what I read, I will promote it. Okay. That's why I am in this position that I love, not a part of any political party, but we're here working for Liberia. And that's why when I come out here, I put out a little cash out for you to help us out, because we're not in the pockets of the government or these politicians. I know some of them will come, who are the politicians that say you will come and help out with the campaign and volunteer. Listen, 21 years later, ever since in the country, I know how to work and get paid. I don't know how to volunteer, especially when I have no intention in getting a political opposition. I don't want no government job. I'm here to do my job as a journalist, as a radio station owner, and to duplicate myself and make it happen for the rest of our brothers and sisters back home. Okay? Thank you. I hope that answers your question. But we're going to play this tip, and then Mr. Bowler will come in.
There's several folds, Peter. One is, although there are 22 political parties, not all are going to field candidates. But to answer your question specifically, we are considering coalitions. I'm not prepared to not lead one of those coalition partners. So my goal is to work with others, not just to win, but to govern, because I think it's important we have an inclusive government. But I want to lead the coalition and not work for one.
The region where Liberia is placed, I mean, the countries around you have gone through very difficult times. Some would even say that Liberia is still in the midst of a fragile peace. You become president tomorrow. Your UN
is the Alternative National Congress.
The elections in 272 days from now.
Several folds, Peter. One is, although there are 22 political parties, not all are going to field candidates. But to answer your question specifically, we are considering coalitions. I'm I'm not prepared to not lead one of those coalition partners. So my goal is to work with others, not just to win, but to govern, because I think it's important we have an inclusive government. But I want to lead the coalition and not work for one.
Steve Bole, I want to lead the coalition and not work for one. I embrace the idea of working with the coalition, but I would rather lead and not work for one. How do you respond?
Well, first of all, I was trying to pay attention to the question, the direct question that was asked. I was trying to pay attention to that, but I could not get it.
The direct question was there are over 22 plus political parties. If you were to be asked to work with the collaboration or a coalition, how would you approach this? And he said he's willing to work with a collaboration or coalition, but he's not prepared to work with something that he would not be in the position to lead. He wants to work with them, but he has to be the one to lead.
Okay. Well, first of all, I go back to what I said initially, that I'm not a spokesman of Mr. Cummins. But you see, when people speak, we got to take it into context based on the question. And so, based on the question that was asked Mr. Cummins about his desire, the question about what is his desire and what his plan. And I believe his plan, he was articulating his plan, that is his wish and that is his goal. And I will keep saying this over and over. Maybe I can repeat myself. Maybe I don't know how many times. Maybe I will have to do this, but I will do it. There is nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong, in wanting to lead a coalition or stating that you want to lead a coalition. There is nothing wrong in it. I think, as a matter of fact, it shows that you are focused. It shows that you are determined. It also shows that you are ready to do a work and you are not hiding anything and you are transparent. That's how I see it. I see it as total transparency. I see it as being focused. And I also see it as something that he wants to do. And that is, again, that is his rights. He has the right to want to be president of Liberia any day or time. And he has the right to state that. I don't think that should be a problem. What I think and what I believe also is that what are the Liberian people? What are the standards? What are the criteria? Are we going to make the same mistake we made with George Weah to do the try and error method? Are we going to say, oh, because this person did this, so let's do this? Are we going to say that? I think that's where we should do. It was his desire, and I think this whole interview was in 2015. That was even, I think, maybe before the coalition or so forth, if I'm not mistaken. So we just gave you the most recent account of Mr. Cummins within the coalition. My question to the Liberian people: which account do you take now? What Mr. Cummins said 2015 or what he is saying now? There's nothing wrong in expressing your intention. I don't think anything is wrong with it. And let us not blow this out of proportion to the Liberian people. And the people that we should be careful about are the people that are not expressing explicitly their desire. Those are the people that we should be careful about. Now, you want to say George Weah was desperate when he gave up the seat to run as vice president just so he can come to government? You want to say George Weah was desperate when he ran 3 consecutive times to be president or to have some kind of seat at the table or to lead Liberia? You want to say that's desperation? I don't think that was desperation. I think that was somebody that wanted to lead, and he declared his intent, and he went for it. Today or tomorrow, if I say I want to run for a position in Liberia or I want to do something, should I shy away from it? Should I go and say, 1 minute I say, I want to be president, another minute, I don't want to be president? Mr. Comey has been clear, and I respect him for that. And I hope and pray that every leader within the opposition will make their case to the Liberian people on what they want to do and how they want to go about it. I just think that is fair.
And again, folks, if you're just joining us, the telephone line is not open. The telephone number to call is 248 979 1718. Call in and be a part of the conversation. Please express yourself that you would, but no profanity. Be respectful, respect the platform, and you can. There's a way to express yourself without using profanity. I know you might be for or against, but please do so in a very respectful manner. And this is something that we want to do going forward, so that we can all be on the same page. Okay. Do you really think the CPP gonna hold? If you have, you can call in now. Again, the number is 248-979-1718. And Mr. Bole, earlier I said that Mr. Cummings has been very consistent.
Right.
You know, he said from the get go, you don't want to go into a competition and thinking that, you know what, even though I'm in the competition, but I will not win, I'll be second. And that alone tells you that he's a competitor. You know, and we're just saying the facts, and people are saying that we are promoting Mr. Cummings. I'm not in the business of promoting people, but in my position as a neutral person, that I believe I am here to just say as it is, you know. And let's see if we can go to the telephone line now. Hello, caller. Tell us your name and where you call from.
Mr. Garley, the giant, the original and true country giant. How you doing, sir?
Good. Is it Prince?
Yeah, this is Prince Williams, and I'm calling from Tennessee, the volunteer state.
You're live on the radio. Go ahead and make a point, my brother. What's on your mind?
Thank you very much, Mr. Garley. I really appreciate the time and the opportunity to be on the Bridge Radio. And thanks to the family, the Bridge Radio family, and the company as well. Mr. Garley, I've been listening, and I think, Mr. Bowley, let me acknowledge your person too as well. Thank you very much for being here. And thanks for your take on the issues as it relates to our politics and Bali politics. Thank you so much, Mr. Bowley. Okay, having said that, then, Mr. Garley, I was just wanting to make certain things, certain observations from my perspective.
Go ahead.
First, I think your narrative of Mr. Cummings' position as it relates to his goal and perspective as to his political pursuit needs to be a little bit consistent with Mr. Cummings' views as well. Meaning to say that, first, I hope that you give us a little bit of background as to when was that interview conducted and the entirety of the question that was posed to Mr. Cummings, because I think the only thing that the audience, myself, received was just a snippet of Mr. Cummings' response. So it sort of kind of gave a little bit of bias to the whole sort of response that Cummings were giving. So, but if I want to believe that interview was sometime before the election or maybe after the election.
Oh, the interview was well before the election. It was quite a few years before the election. I believe it was 2013 or 2014 or something like that. But well before the election.
Thank you very much. And then with contrast to Mr. Cummings' recent position as it relates to people are concerned about that response at the time, Mr. Cummings has provided an evolution of his perspective. And I think I want to commend Mr. Cummings for being consistent, because if a good leader will always have a perspective and a clear objective and a perspective. At the time, Mr. Cummings was giving a clear perspective and objective about his involvement within the Liberian politics, which is all typical of any politician, and it's even typical in our even daily life. We go to anything we want to go to invest our time, our resources, our energy. We want to be the best. We go to college, we want to get our degree and be the best. We don't go there to settle for second place. So that was the perspective Cummings was speaking. But given the time and the dynamics of the change in the Liberian politics and everything that has been changing, the shifting saying, Mr. Cummings has evolved in also to come to the point that an effective coalition would be for him to collaborate and work with people. And that should be based on the trust of the Liberian people. And that his effort, his determination, and his hard work should be able to be real fruitful. And he has also experienced that in his entirety of his life. Mr. Cummings didn't become head of Coca-Cola just by going and say, "Oh, I will only settle for the least position." He was very ambitious. He worked hard. He proved himself, and he excelled gracefully and greatly. So it's the same attitude Mr. Cummings is bringing to the Liberian politics. I know it's strange for us because most of we Liberians, we only have that kind of notion that, it has to be like a susu mentality. Oh, the other person eat, it's my time to eat. Let me wait for my time to eat. No, Mr. Cummings is bringing a different perspective where you have to be ambitious, you have to be very determined, you have to be hardworking, you have to have all your skills, your wit, and your persuasion to be able to excel. And that's what Mr. Cummings is bringing to the dynamic. I know a lot of people don't like that. And even as a problem, a lot of people are facing with most of Mr. Cummings or supporter in the diaspora. Most of them are open-minded. Most of them are they express themselves. They say what on their mind. So people say they're arrogant. People say they this and that. They kind of give a contrast to that timid attitude that we all grew up with in Liberia. But we don't see what we want to see. We don't tell people the truth. We just keep quiet no matter what. We suffer. We bear our pain and sufferings. So what I want to say is that Mr. Cummings is clear. He was he answered this question on the T-Mac Pro show, and he even answered the question on what they call it, on Sickle Corner show. He said it clearly. He's going to work hard. He will work diligently. He will do everything he can to be able to be successful. So I believe so is the same as Joseph Barker. Nobody's stopping Joseph Barker from working hard and convincing Liberian people to select him. But one thing Mr. Cummings is bringing to the dynamics is that the process would not be done so a few people, well, a group of people just get together, and he wants the Liberian people to be involved because it is Liberian people he's justifying his inclusion too. He came into the politics, Liberian people say he was new. He just come in. They don't know him. He working hard now to prove to the Liberian people that he not just coming. He was around. He does everything differently. But this time around, he will go according to what the Liberian people think will be the best way to be persuaded.
Thank you, Prince.
So I think Mr. Cummings' position is as it is. I don't think the narrative
if you notice, we give you enough time to explain. Prince,
thank you very much.
If you notice, we give you enough time. We don't call people off here, but when you go
thank you so much.
over,
I appreciate
it. That's what we do here. Okay, we have a 682 number here, and again from the beginning of the show, Steve, if you heard us, we said Mr. Cummings has been very consistent.
Yes.
Okay? And I said to you just before the person on the road that the interview was done. When Prince asked, I said the interview was done years back, But again, he has been very consistent. So it's not anything to demean Mr. Cummings here, but just that his consistency continued. That's what we're saying here. Hello, caller. Tell us your name and where you call from.
This is Jonathan Winston calling from Texas Studios.
You're live on the radio. Go ahead, make your point.
Okay. I first of all want to tell you thank you for this fascinating program and the exchange of ideas. You are very good. I want to say this.
Would you please speak a little bit louder? We can't hear you. Please speak a little bit louder.
All right.
And speak in the microphone.
Mr. Cummings is someone who seek higher for everything in his life sincerely. And having an individual who does not look down on himself or always seek for the higher spot on a legal and a most powerful way are people that you always have to look at. As he usually say, you don't go into a football race or in a tournament and say, I'm going to be the second person in that race. There's no way. You always go in the race to be first. So I don't know the reason why people get mad and say that, why Cummings always want to be president, always want to be president. That's where he focused on. And that's why he wants to be. That's where he thinks he will make more impact into the lives of the Liberian people. As a senator, as a representative, how many people he will reach in Liberia. As a private citizen, how many persons he will reach to in Liberia. But at the highest seat, he will impact more lives. He will make more decisions that will impact most of the Liberian people. That's where he focused on. And that's why he wants to be. That's where he thinks. Come again? Oh, okay. So there's no reason why people should go against Alexander Cummings' statement. And Alexander Cummings, as the new chairman for the CPP, his leadership role will definitely show exactly what he will become if the coalition should win the election. This position that he's holding now is the time to show to the Liberian people that yes, what I will do and my example I will set, the leadership steps I will take for you to follow will definitely make the Liberian people to know that he's definitely ready and prepared for the highest seat. And that's why I'm so glad that indeed he was given that position as the chairman for the CPP. And I definitely know people that have interacted with him, people that have worked with him, know how to address things. He does not bite his fingers. He sees exactly what it is, There's nothing about bypassing process. He always wants people to follow the main process, the main law. That's why anytime you hear him having interviews, he usually say, "I don't want to rely too much on gossip and all the stuff, and I don't want to mix my words." And he always tries to get himself in there.
Thank you, brother.
When it comes to the law.
Thank you.
Yes. So people shouldn't worry about Alexander Cummings' statement that he's too ambitious and all of that. He's just shooting for the highest place. That's why a mature person.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have Mr. G. Othello Yande. Hello, welcome to the show. Go ahead and make your point.
Shouldn't worry about Alexander Cummings' statement that he's too ambitious and all of that.
Othello?
Thank you so much.
Othello.
We have Mr. G. Othello.
You're live on the radio, Othello. Go ahead and make your point.
Thank you so much.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Garley. And to my brother, instead, I want to say to you, thank you so much for providing us with information about Edison Cummings. Let me just make my point really quick. Let me again congratulate Mr. Cummings on his peaceful transfer of powers. Honorable Ben Nigeria to Mr. Cummings to take care of the CPP, and I want to congratulate the CPP for one of the greatest work we have seen so far to come together and sign the first step in their relationship, and we hope that they will make it other marriage and other stuff like that. Look, let me be clear on this: is the opposition is not careful as we are looking up to them, it's going to be the repeat of Cass Taylor in 1997 when the H. Brahma founder on those guys came out to say, I will not surrender to my friend because I'm more educated, I'm experienced, I got a country and other stuff like that. So instead of them coming together to work together, they went all by themselves, and at the end of the day, Charles Taylor won them so much that they themselves were confused. Now, you cannot go into a coalition with a public comment to the word that I cannot accept anything then to hear the coalition. You should always leave room for disappointment, just in case disappointment comes in, and then you can take a step back to work on it. But if you look at Mr. Cummings' public comments on who to control or who to lead the CPP, consistently, he said he cannot take anything than being president of the Republic of Liberia.
You have 30 seconds. Go ahead. 30 seconds. Go ahead. Complete your
Okay.
statement.
So as you look at this right now in the CPP, there is no one. If we are to go with qualification, there is no one in the CPP that is more qualified or experienced or have the popularity more than Joseph Parker. If that being said, Alexander Cummings needs to work. If he wants to go as a president on the CPP ticket, they have to convince Joseph Parker to draft up, then he can be able to run on the ticket. But as it stands, Alexander Cummings cannot be standard bearer of the CPP. I just want to say that he can go as a vice presidential candidate, which of course he's not even waiting to go. But if he say he will break away from the CPP, I'm sorry, he's not going to be president. He will not be president. If he can break away from the CPP, he's not going to be president, and he will never be a vice president to anybody in the country. That's what I got to say.
Thank you. Okay, we have 678 598-2359. Tell us your name and where you call from.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fowler, and thank you to your studio guest, Steve Bully. I am calling from California. My name is Mr. Brown. How are you?
Good. We're doing great. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and make your point, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I tell you, I follow the show quite a bit now, and as I sit by and listening, I think some analysis of Mr. Bully, he lay out in a low manner. I think Mr. Comey has said it over and over, but I think it would take a long time for this thing to resonate with most Liberians as far as position. My question to the Liberian people is this. I think Steve has said it. You can't go out there if you want a girl to say, man, I want to be in second place. You all want to be in the first place. In this country, you can't leave to go and apply for the job, okay? You went there and applied to become managers for this company, and then you get there for the interview, and then say, you know what? You are competent and qualified to be the managers for this company, but we have a supervisor position. You want to take that? How many of us would take that job? You can't go into any kind of contest of match and say, where I want to be in the second place. And one thing again that I want to clear out is this. Liberia have the notions to tell Mr. Comey to go and become a representative or senator before he can become president. Can one person point out to me who have gone to become a representative or senator and then became a president that did well? If so, what's the case study here that we have? We sent John Weah over there as a representative, as a senator for Mosul Rada. Now he's the president. So becoming a representative or senator, does it change anything for you when you become president? So we continue to make the same mistake all of the time. And in order for Liberia to move forward, we have to be very wise. If not,
30 seconds,
that
please.
country is not moving forward.
30 seconds, please.
We have to be very, very careful in things that we say. And I know people that support Buckeye, thank God that the CPP now have a framework that we all can work with to convince our people, because they made a mistake to elect John Weah, and we should understand they are saying the repercussions of their own action in the country. So it's about time for us to work together. If people will come with different mindset, that where it should be Buckeye to go, because the statistics show 2016 he won, he came second. Guys, ANC is not sitting down, ANC is working.
Thank
so
you,
you
sir.
want to tell me you're going to take that old data to compare with current data? Which of course we've all seen Mr. Comey moving around the country.
Thank you, sir.
All right, doing things since 2017. He's all over the country from one place to another. He has never left the people.
Thanks for your contribution.
Okay? So you can't base your statistic, the old statistic in 2016, to bring it into this to say where, Buckeye is popular. Guys, we need to eradicate those things, come together, all right, and allow this thing to play out.
Thank you so
We
much.
all should unite, and make sure that CPP whole. Because if people are
Do you realize that we have other callers on the line? I mean, you
we are
talking
not
enough.
going
I'm
anywhere.
giving you the courtesy, and you still
We are not
talking.
going anywhere.
Thank you, sir.
So let us just step back here and take a deep breath.
207-282-4999. Tell us your name and where you call from.
Yeah, Ashford, how you doing?
You know, I'll do my best to give you enough time to talk. I don't cut people off that others do, you know, but you have to respect that others want to cut as well, you know? Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, how you doing, Ashford? My name is Joseph Oshet.
Hey, Shah, how you doing? Welcome to the show, Shah Thomas.
Yeah, I think your question you ask more people, they just focusing on Cummings. You ask question, what are the CPP will hold? And you know what everybody say, we keep doing the same thing and we expect different results. And this time around, I'm not telling anybody with my own popularity for my area that I control. Anybody at this time that want to be president should tell others, the Liberian people, that they're going to, they should tell us from the beginning that, yes, this is what are going to be, they want to bring the war and economic crime to Liberia. Because with all justice, there will be no peace. People are flying around, they got a tendency to say, oh, I want to time to go church. And I see a lot of arrogant people, I see a lot of people all in opposition. I'm an opposition, but I'm a farmer. I don't want government job. All I want for Liberian people to enjoy at the time we were coming up. So before we can support anybody in the CPP, we want you to tell us that, number one, the war and economic crime code. Because people are stealing the Liberian people money and just flying around for free. People raping our sisters. People will kill their girlfriend and teen, and people will kill their wives until they put it in the post, what they call it post central prison compound. For 2 weeks, they moved in, the people walking the society, and people are not safe in the society no more. So we want someone who will tell the Liberian people, I will bring justice. Even if my own brother, someone who will not say, we are family.
Thank you,
we
Josephus.
Let the party pay for the crime.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Thank you. We have Duke on the line. Hello, Duke. Welcome to the show.
Hey, my brother Ashford, how are you?
What's up, partner?
I'm fine, man. Thanks for the show tonight, Moses. Thanks for holding it down for us. Good presentation here. Ashford, I felt that needed to call it. And listen, today was a beautiful day, right? In Liberia's history, we witnessed one of the first of this kind, wherein all of those key political parties in Liberia came together and signed a document that is believed to be the framework. Usually I'm on the fiery side, but all day today I've gotten calls from across the aisle. Some of my friends in the Unity Party, some of my friends in the ALP, the LP. Before I called, I was actually on another meeting with people from Monrovia for almost about 45 minutes to an hour. Those of us who are in the opposition, representing the political parties who are in the opposition, we understand how significant this is. We know that our fight is not, going to be directed at people or leaders who are in the opposition who have behind the scenes worked hard to get us to this point. We understand that this framework bounds all of us to be careful in terms of our utterances, and that we have to do the Liberian people's work. And so before I go a step further, Ashford, I want to say my commitment here is that to ensure that, I will continue to reach across the aisle and talk to my brothers in other political parties and just let them know that we all are on one team. We're working together to make sure that our people
That's very good.
Get the type of leadership that they deserve.
Very good.
Okay. But that's why I want to say this to you. There are people who are not happy about this collaboration. And you will find out that, whenever you're having these shows, there will be elements who have been planted to come on the live videos and just talk negative as if their opinions represent the opinions of people within the collaborating parties. I've been a harsh talker. I've been somebody who's been fierce in terms of my utterances. If I can come here tonight and tell you that I'm at peace with the agreement, that's for the proof that we're working and we're talking behind the scenes and we understand the level of importance. Now, since this issue is about Mr. Cummings, I want to say this. Mr. Cummings is a very welcoming man. Mr. Cummings comes in not wanting to present himself as this person who thinks that he's entitled to the presidency. Mr. Cummings understands the content of the documents, right, that was signed today. And all of us are aware that whatever's in the best interest of the Liberian people is where we're going to stand, right? So this is not about, trying to force down this thought of being president on the Liberian people. It's about trying to make sure we can get some sort of effective leadership. But if I need to reference the history of Liberia, just quickly, I would say this, Ashford. For all these years, we have used the same methods. We have followed the same procedures of electing leaders within Liberia. And if we are numbers people and we can use history as a scorecard for the level of success that we've had, then our common sense should tell us that we've regressed as a society, and perhaps it is time for us to start thinking differently. To all of you there who are part of other individual movements that are not part of the collaborating political parties, some of you who have your personal anger directed at the ANC and people in the ANC, I want to speak to you and reach to your hearts and tell you tonight The fight is not against people who are fighting to liberate Liberia. The fight is against a president who has orchestrated one of the worst economic crimes in the history of Liberia.
Yeah, 30
Your
seconds,
frustration
please.
should not be
30
directed
seconds,
at
Duke.
Alexander. Go ahead.
30
Yeah.
seconds, please. Yeah, go ahead. You complete
sure.
your fucking 30
Your
seconds.
frustration should not be directed at Alexander Cummings. Instead, it should be directed at George Weah. And we're open to make sure that you all can become part of this process and create the type of leadership that Liberia needs. Hopefully, it is Alexander Cummings, and I trust that the Liberian people and our collaborative members will make the right decision. Thank you, Ashford. Thank you, Moses. And let's work together to make sure that we'll see George Weah in 2023. Thank you.
That's the voice of Duke. I'd like to recognize Mr. Francois Demonique of Detroit, Michigan. He just suffixed on the program tonight. We'll take two more callers, and then we'll go back to our studio guests for us to conclude this program tonight. We have 267-776-5983. Tell us the name and where do you join us from tonight?
Yeah, Mr. Garley, how you doing?
Good. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Tell us the name, sir.
This is Bud Dinoa. Let me congratulate Moses first. Let me just congratulate him. If all the ANC members can be like Moses, I don't think there will be any problem. Any problems in ANC. It is time now for all of us, the advocates, ANC members, non-ANC members, all of us come together. We fought, we cry. I'm a member of vote. I'm not part of ANC, neither the other political party. But this is a fact, though, Brother Garley. If we, Liberians, want our country back, like what Mr. Ure said today, we need to unify every Liberian. Whether you're from ANC, whether you're from vote, whether you're from other political subdivision. The only thing we want is to take our country back from this dictator that they call George Weah. George Weah does not augur well for the Liberian people. You see, Brother Garley, you said the last on one of the occasions that before Liberia could be better, we have to struggle. And on Seco Show, I asked Brother Cummings, I asked him just one question. Mr. Cummings, if you are elected president of the Republic of Liberia, will you look at Samuel Tour from Maryland? Will you look at George Weah from Grand Crew and other officials of government to prosecute them? If they are found guilty, will you give them a jail time or a prison in our people, damaging our country? And Brother Cummings look at me and told me, say, but yes, I will do it. If the law comes through and they are found guilty, I will do it. So I want all the ANC members, whether women, girls, men, let them be like Moses. Let them be like Moses and speak like Moses.
Thank you. 30 seconds.
Our country will be built and we will have better Liberia.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Brother Garley. Thank you very much, Loli, for having me on your show.
Okay, we have 240-317-5499. Tell us your name and where do you join us from tonight?
Yes, Mr. Garley, this is Ali Kamara, and I'm calling from Maryland. How do you do, sir?
Mr. Kamara, welcome to the show. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Go ahead, make your point. You're live on the radio.
Thank you. First of all, let me say, Moses, the begin learning now, getting better, and this is what that's just all we ask. One of the reasons why we speak against Mr. Alexander Cummings is not because we do not know the importance. Because some of the people that post around as his pundits, they condemn the people they're supposed to be winning. They criticize and denigrate the people they're supposed to be winning. And if you alienate the people that's supposed to join you to give you the victory you need, then you're just wasting your energy. So we tell them, use this euphoria for the right purpose. And if you do so, some of us who are sitting on the fence may join you. So I think from all of his exposés, I've watched him over the few months that he's been on social media. This has been one of his best presentations. And we have to do away with sentiment and emotion and attack the issues, not individuals.
On the map today. You are on the map today.
Okay. So thank you so much for your operation today, Mr. Moses Basti. But let me just say this: with other political parties will hold. I am of the conviction that it will hold. And the reason why I say that is because they went through all of the rigmaroles before signing any document.
That's right.
Mr. Alexander Cummings and Mr. Ben Nayure have had all of their fights. And their stepson or their outside child, Mr. Costa, have been on the other side, just been very controversial. And they have lived all of this test of time over the months. And I think they have learned a lot. There will be problems, like Mr. Cummings said. There will definitely be problems. But they have been through the toughest rounds already. So whatever problem that pops up, they will be able to iron it up. And they have to be aware, now that they are four and they've signed a piece of document that binds them, George Weah also have a very strong political team. It doesn't matter what anybody feels about the CDC. There are people in the CDC who are political giants, okay? And they will throw stones in the CPP. It will be up to the CPP and some of the young pundits they have around the world to realize that most of these things will be political propaganda. But we sincerely hope that the CPP holds.
Thank you.
My fear is that if somebody come up to be the standard barrier for the CPP, other than Mr. Cummings, he might raise an eyebrow. But I also know that he is a man of his word, and whatever happens, we're all here to rally our support and making sure that George Weah does not retain his position as president.
Thank you
so much for having me, Mr. Garley.
My man, thank you. And I want to go to 404-952-0661. Tell us your name and where do you call from tonight?
Hey, Mr. Garley, my name is C.F.I. Anderson. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Welcome to the show. You're live on the radio. Go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys for the platform, especially Mr. Garley and Mr. Bully in there. I'd like to recognize the president too. But I'd just like to ask Mr. Bully one question because, like, he claiming that Alexander Cummings is the right person right now and stuff like that. But I want to know, Alexander Cummings has been living in Liberia for so long. What is he doing in Liberia to help Liberians right now that will make people want to vote for him? Are he creating jobs? Are he in the private sector doing something different? I mean, I just want to know, what is he doing differently from any other politician that have been in the runaround that we would want to put him in the presidency right now?
I think that's a fair question. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bully will respond to you in just a little bit. Thank you so much. And want to go to Mr. Alfonso Zion Soul, calling from Rhode Island, my professional colleague. Hello and welcome to the show, Mrs. Soul.
What legendary Garley? That's what I prefer calling you because gives once the flower, always do. But let's get to the point. And I want to say thank you to Moses. I have followed him for quite a long time on different series of platforms. And he seems to be a guy who has been very, very much consistent. And that's what that's kind of people we want to have. Even if you support a process or system, you will be able to front against that system if something is not going right. But here is the deal, Mr. Garley. I am a free thinker. I'm a guy who put a lot of apprehension considering the history of our political institutions. They are not noted of being of holding their mountains together. And you will know all Liberian conference what happens at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing today. Let's see what that's going to hold. I think this is a very defining movement for the ANC party leader, Alexander Cummings, in terms of his leadership style, whether he will able to take charge of this coalition because the ball rests in his hand. I'm interested in knowing what were some of the technical details these political institutions, after almost a year or more than a year, to come together today. Those are things I want to see Mr. Cummings and the executive man coming forward. And somebody did mention something. As much Costa is a force, he needs to also understand they are coming together now. It should signify, it should solidify their position. You can't come together as a unit and then another group, one party extracting, say, okay, I'm speaking, but I'm speaking for my party. Then where is the correlation? Those are things I want to see happening. Those are one things that I want to see Mr. Cummings now to come forward to say, hey, moving forward, this is going to be the position. And I'm not saying everything going to be a bread butter, peanut butter and jelly. That's not what I'm saying here. But I need to know some of the tangible, some of those unresolved things that they have been having, that have been holding them down to come to this issue. Because that's going to assure the Liberian people. Other than that, if they are not willing or if they cannot come out, Mr. Garley, to discuss this thing publicly for you and I to know and to bring them on here, to question them, to tell all their authenticity, what they are breaking to the people, well, I will keep scratching my head. But we're going to wait and see. I'm not going to be judgmental, but I'm anxious to see the details of the technical workout and see who all have fixed their signature on that to keep this process standing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And this is what we're going to continue to do, to ask the questions, and then the folks out there will come out, whether you would for the ANC, the ALP, the Unity Party, of the Liberty Party, the CPP, and the rest of the folks who find themselves on the other side, that the Joshua and his party. You have the platform, the opportunity is all yours. You come out and get speak to the Liberian people. With that said, I want to take this last call and then go back to our studio guest. Mr. Amos George is on the line from Georgia. Brother George, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. Today was a good day for every Liberian. But what I'm waiting for, I want to see the details of this document. Because I always say the devil is in the details, so I want to see the document before I can make any further comment on it. But from the face value, I say it's a good direction that Liberia is moving to. And the next thing I wanted to address is that I hear people always asking what Cummings has done for the Liberian people. But these people are biased to me. What did Georgia do for the Liberian people? How many jobs or institutions that he created before giving the presidency? Why they don't pose the same question to Mr. Joseph Boakai? Why? You see, the double standard, this is the problem we're having in Liberia. When you don't like someone, they will find fault on the person. When they like the person, there's no fault. So if you people want to use that as a measurement, then let us ask all these people who in power today or who are aspiring for political position, what have they done? I think from my understanding, I've done some research on Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings got a stem cell school built in Liberia, multi-millionaire school, where every child in that school uses computer. Stem cell school. How many politicians in Liberia ever did that? Out of his pocket. No one worked for a government institution. Took that money out of his pocket to build an institution that children are learning today. Stem cell school. How many politicians? The old people all ask, great job, create it. But your personal leadership now, you also you work under 85 million. How many factories did he created in Liberia? What was the school that he built that for children to go there to learn something, to make people independent? This notion that people You want to, when you don't want someone, then you come to vilify, you come to create all kinds of things around them. So the question here is, why don't I judge Weah? What the school he did build? What the father he did build? He was in Liberia twice. He was in the Senate. What did that man do to impact a child today in Liberia life? Can someone pinpoint it to me? But everybody goes after Mr. Cummings. What is on the men that the Liberian people are so afraid of? Because that's the only thing I see, that they want to define him as this guy who has never done anything in Liberia to benefit anybody. Why? After the election, Cummings was the only person that promised the length and breadth of Liberia to go back to tell the people thank you. Your president you got today, almost going to 3 years, had not left to go to any kind of to tell the people thank you. Why don't you people point at these things? But it's a negative thing most people always look at. The negative thing. And I want to tell Mr. Bole today, thank you for articulating your view, because you're not speaking for the ANC or Cummings or whatever. It is your view because you're a member of the ANC. So thank you for articulating your view.
Thank you.
But I just want to close. I just want to close on it more.
Thank you.
Let us all look at people, judge people based on their experience, based on what they have done, their capacity building. Mr. Cummings has said it before. I followed Mr. Cummings on the show. He said he got businesses in Liberia, but he cannot name it because the government might go after those people that work his partner. And it is obvious, you can see, George, where the WLF government, how they treat people who disagree with them. So why we want to come out to start saying this man has not done anything? Let us put everybody on the
Thank you, Mr. George.
Thank you, Mr. Bole.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, that was the last caller, and I want to go back to Mr. Bole. Mr. Bole, you heard from most of the callers tonight. Most of them are in supportive of you, and people were asking questions. Why can those who associate with Mr. Cummings, with the ANC, talk about all of the good things that Mr. Cummings is doing in Liberia, building institutions, changing the lives of others in Liberia? Why aren't you people talking about those things? But on the other hand, you come on the social media and attack people. Some people refer to the Cummings supporters as the serialized version of the CDC. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I think Mr. Cummings is a decent man, and he loves Liberia. I went to Liberia between 2016 and 2019, 12 different times, and I have seen some of the infrastructure built by Mr. Cummings, some of the institution in terms of education, in terms of loan for Liberia and the people of Liberia. Why aren't you people talking about those things? Number one. Number two, they're also concerned about Mr. Cummings' position on corruption. Is he going to be the center fronter when it comes to economic and war crimes courts? Is he going to prosecute people who did wrong to the country, people who need to be audited? Is he going to take that stand? So they are all concerned, and to be quite honest with you, he's a decent man. Again, he has got himself in a position where people expect a lot coming up from him. And we use Steve Bowley, the feelings. I mean, you say it as it is. How did you respond?
Well, first of all, I want to encourage you. I want to encourage the listeners and the viewers to please, maybe if you have time and you have computer or you have phone and you can access the internet, please try to look up Cummings Africa Foundation. There are a lot of information there about some of the work that Mr. Cummings is doing in Liberia, and not only restricted to Liberia, because the foundation itself speaks volumes. It's Africa, but at least he's focused in Liberia as well. And I've listened to Mr. Cummings on his platform when it comes to education, and I agree with him 100%. And the reason I agree with him, one of his strategies and his plan is he wants to start investing in the younger ones, in the younger generation, which is not necessarily bad, because it helps prepare us for the future. Now, the stem cell school and other things that he has in Monrovia that most people might not be aware of. But today, just so you know, you can look it up. Just in most recent time, in 2019, a few months ago, around November 18, 2019, Mr. Cummings gave out money to 15,000 to small businesses, you know. But here's the fact of the matter, though. Here's the truth of the matter. Mr. Cummings cannot shoulder the responsibility of the government. It don't make any sense. If that's what the Liberian people are waiting for, then let them go and support Josh Weah. But it wouldn't make any sense, though. We have to ensure that we hold our leaders accountable. He will do what he has to do as a private citizen, and he is right. If should Mr. Cummings announce his businesses today, it would be a problem. It would be a serious problem. Should he announce the investments and partners that he works with to be able to employ Liberian people and ensure that food are put on the table? It will be a serious problem with this government that we have because they don't understand the issue. Every day they're shooting themselves in the foot and they're contradicting themselves. So he is very precautious about what he says. Mr. Garley, to your question about Mr. Cummings not want to prosecute people, I want to say to your audience here, that's not what Mr. Cummings said, and that's not what he is looking forward to. You see, one of the reasons today Donald Trump did not succeed in pursuing or following the justice system to get a Hillary Clinton is this. You cannot openly, as a mature, calculative person that understands whether the business or the politics or the other thing, you can't come and say, oh, I will prosecute Joey, I will prosecute this person. You can't do that. That's witch hunting. That is witch hunting. You and I can do that because we are citizens. We're not fighting for any political office or anything. You can't do that strategically. It doesn't mean you will not go to where the facts lead. You will not, go to where and this is what I want to say again. I said this over and over. What did I do?
And Steve, just before you continue, people would say, "Oh, you are promoting Cummings and all that kind of stuff." I never met Cummings before. I mean, I don't, I haven't shaken his hand, but we are basing our deliberation here on facts. We as journalists will have to state the facts as we see or hear about them. Listen. Mr. Cummings has a science school on Duper Road. He set up a computer lab at the University of Liberia on the Fender campus for the mass communication department with over 30 laptops. There's just something, and he doesn't talk about these things. But just the other day, they donate one bucket. You see all over the place. And I'm told currently, he paying over 30 university student fees at the Adventist University, the UMU Stella Marie Star College, Blue Cross University. He's single-handedly paying these people tuition from his pocket. All those students are studying science courses. Do you know what it means to be a science student? You have to be extra smart. You have to work extra hard. And this is coming from the pocket of Mr. Alexander Cummings. I am not part of ANCO. I never spoke with Mr. Cummings before, but he's doing this for Liberia and the people of Liberia. And these kids that are being educated now are the future of Liberia. And I think we ought to talk about these things. Yesterday, I came on here and praised President Weah for building estates in Grand Judah County. I also praised President Weah after 30 years to turn up the light in McGibby County. So does that mean that I support George Weah? No. We've always wished to be in this position where we can sit in the middle and say thank you to you when you do well for the country and not for your own selfish gain. Continue, Mr. Bowley.
So, Mr. Garley, like I was saying, Mr. Cummings, if the Liberian people want him to show up, he will not show up. That's not his personality. That's not who he is. But most importantly, on the issue of the economic and war crime code, let me just say it here today.
And I'm told 2,000 students, all right? He paid the fees for why? 2,000. Have you heard him say it? No. Did he tell the people to say it? No.
Nope.
But the students that are benefiting are calling us and telling us about some of the things that Mr. Cummings is doing in Liberia. Go ahead, sir.
But overall, Mr. Garley, when I met with Mr. Cummins, sometimes the end of last year, I think in October, he came to Arizona. We had a closed door meeting. There are some concerns I had. There are 3 paramount concerns I had. And these are the concerns that made me today, I withdrew and I cannot support George Weah. And I don't play games because I don't have no time for that. The Liberian people like, the funny thing, and, you might kind of thought one thing yesterday, you change your mind. You kind of, then they see you as smart. When you crooked, you are smart. No, that's not true. That is not true. When you are loud and you are making a bunch of noise and achieving nothing, you are smart. When President George Weah took over, one of my first challenges to President George Weah was to see his cabinets, the people that will be working with him. When I saw the very first listing, I said to myself, we are in some real beautiful nonsense. We are. The second thing, when President Weah kept his words and his promise that he would protect Ellen and he refused to order the government, I said, this is messy. And I was in Liberia when President George Weah started to build his mansions and his stuff in 2018. I was there. So here's my take. This is what I said in a closed doors meeting. This is what I said. I asked Mr. Cummins about the war crimes court. Yes, I did. You see, sometimes it's okay to stop being this, like one of the callers said earlier, stop being emotional. Investigate. Ask questions. Ask questions. Stop getting vexed. Just stop for a minute and start getting vexed. I said, what is your plan for the economic war crimes court? And Mr. Cummins was clear on it. Yes, he's in favor of the economic and the war crime court. Yes. And that alone is a plus. But the way forward to it is how the Liberian people want it. So let's take, for example, some people want partial implementation of the TRC. Some people want full implementation of the CRC. That becomes a struggle. If Mr. Cummins has said he is not in favor of the economic war crime court, I'll walk away from him because I don't honor my interests. I don't. I would never honor my interests. I personally would never do that. Other people honor their interests. I don't do that. I don't honor my interests in anything I do. And so, when he said that he is for it, but he wants us to come to the table and decide how we want a full implementation of the economic war crime court, he's open to it. We want for us to do it this way, he's open to it. That's what leaders do. Leaders don't just come and say, I will prosecute George Weah. I will prosecute Samuel Twe. Yes, the will is there to prosecute George Weah. And let me say this, let me be on record for this. If Mr. Cummins or whoever is the next president of Liberia, well, I believe strongly will be Mr. Cummins, if he trips with the war and the economic crime court, you will see me back on the radio. I would resign, denounce, and disassociate myself with him and the ANC. Because you know what? I think that will be fooling me, that will be fooling the Liberian people, and that will be hypocritical. I don't play games with certain things. Economic war economic crime court is eminent. It's a must for me. Another thing that is a must, prosecuting George Weah and his cronies, and as possible as Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, if possible, go back to Charles Taylor days. 100% is a must for me. I don't know. I don't bet my toe on that. That is my prerequisite to support anybody or anything that is going to take over. So at this juncture, this is not about hauling and pulling. Mr. Cummins will, let me say this to the Liberian people, rest assured, will prosecute George Weah and his government. You can take that to the bank, as Akara Gray will say. And probably Akara Gray will be implemented as well, because he must be investigated for the Ebola money. We're not going to let that sleep. We're not going to shy away from that conversation. And not only Akara Gray, other members within the CPP that are crooked, that are involved into this thing, all of us will ensure that we hold whoever is next to ensure that these guys are investigated. Mr. Garley, this country will move forward. This country will move forward. When honest people come, consistent people come, and serious-minded people come, this country will move forward. And we are here. Somehow we're not going anywhere. I hear somebody told me today, say, oh, well, you're a professional president. Why you come on Facebook and say the one? Let me tell you something. Martin Luther King was a professional man. He was a professional man. He was a religious man, as a matter of fact. Go check everybody that led revolution. For the most part, they were professional people. When the good people sit by and don't talk, the bad people make decisions for them. I'm not going to sit by again. I'm not sitting on the fence anymore. I don't care who says what. I will speak truth to power.
Okay, let me say this. And I mean, what I'm getting tonight is just so overwhelming. Mr. Cummins, I don't know if you heard about BWR in Kakata. He provided 50 kV generator.
Yes.
And this machine supplies the institution with electricity. And he said, Mr. Cumming does not like people to talk about what he's doing to help people.
Indeed.
He does not like to talk. He said Mr. Cumming helps students in Lofa, Cape Mount, Bombay, Nima, Grand Jide, River G, Maryland, Grand Cruz, Samukande. He is the first politician to have supplied medical supplies and equipment with over 500,000 United States dollars. And he has asked the people not to talk about these things because to him, that's something as a Liberian and the son of the sword you're supposed to be doing and not brag about them. What does that say to you, Steve, about your political leader?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be on the record again. BW, I know BW very, very well because I originate from Makibi. That's where I was born, specifically in Kakata. So I want to appreciate Mr. Cummings and everyone else that contributed to that effort. Let me say this, Mr. Garley. Let me say this. You see, what you do behind closed door, and I like this. I like the fact that Mr. Cummings is not blowing horn on these things because you must do the right thing, even when people are not watching. All this thing I see our Liberian people doing with showing off and doing this and doing that. It's not important, Mr. Garley. It's about a human being. And that's why some of us, every time we have the opportunity to come, we want the Liberian people to know that they are the most important people because you know what happened? If President we have paved the road, it is not something for us to jump around and celebrate. No, we can commend him for taking on that project, but it is part of his constitutional duty. So why should I jump around if Mr. John Weir does a job? Why? Why should I jump around? Why should we say Mr. Cummings might help people in Liberia when you get a government that's supposed to be doing the job? But Mr. Cummings does this against his own will, though, and he does it with his heart. That's why I believe he doesn't even make publicity of this. And that's how it's supposed to be, Mr. Garley. But we Liberian people, I will tell you the truth today, unless you really have the mind of humanity and you love to serve human beings and you love to do the right thing to ensure that other people benefit, Liberian men, typical Liberian men can't do anything for free. They can't do anything to get blessing. I will tell you today, and I'm saying it to you. Anything Liberian men do, they think they must get someone and pay for it. So the same thing you will find these senators then doing, they will come to you, the representatives doing, they will come to you and lie to you and get your vote and buy you small things. Look, let me say this today. Let me just say this on here today. If the CDC-led government pave the road, there's not anything we should make news about. If they get a Liberian food, there's not anything we should make news about. Liberian people need to understand their values. This is what they're supposed to do. That's why you let them for. Stop trying to make it look like you gotta thank them, or you gotta go ahead and give them their want, or you gotta support them because they meant this thing. No, that is not truth. Look, do you know how disturbed I feel when I see Liberian people standing online in a country for food? You know the psychological effect of that thing? I stood in line in refugee camp for food. You understand what I'm saying? This is not a joke. And this is why when I see these grown men and women who understand the issue, playing with our people and putting the country down and making us to look like we are beggars, it's a problem for me. It's a problem for me. But I take it personal. Let me tell you today. That's why when people like Dallas DeLong, who we trust, do something wrong, we cover hard on them. You understand me? That's why when Henry Costa said he took money from George Weah or from Carrasco, it pissed me off. Because you know what happened? We, the young people, must change the trajectory. I'm telling the truth. You know who brought Labrador to war? The young people. They're not old people. Though they were very young. It will take us, the young people, to be serious-minded. Anything that has to do with the people's interest, let us not compromise with it. Let us not do it. Because I will say this to you, Mr. Garley, whether you Christian or you Muslim, whatever you believe in, anybody that do not do right for the people of God, God can stand with you. God can disgrace you. And that's why I believe President George Weah, if he doesn't change, will be disgraced. He will be disgraced. You will have no legacy. I'm telling the truth. And nothing personal against the president. So we need to be serious. We need to be serious. We are in the 21st century. Mr. Garley, do you know that your children, your young son, you tell me a few years ago, was playing with technology? You think that the children who born in Liberia, You think other children are better than them? Children in the country, you get in your phone today, they are able to play with it. You understand me? In our own country, our children are selling. I feel very disgusted. I go to see our children are selling. But you got these lawmakers, you got all of them here, they got the children there on here, the people that stay in line vote for them. Almost all of them, the children in America are going to school. You see what I'm saying? And we'll say some of these things. I see CDC and other people, my brothers and my sisters there, who on the other eye talk about, you hate the president, you hate the president. This is not personal. This is not against the president. We got to move this country forward, Mr. Garley. It's a shame. I would not rest. I will not die with Labro being the way it is. We will make sure Labro gets somewhere. We might not be able to complete it. You think the freedom we enjoy in the country and our mind and power make it? They're not true. Somebody had to get a life for it.
But Steve, why Honorable Cummins decided not to talk about some of the things, especially assisting going to 6 different hospitals in Liberia? No, CH Renning Hospital in Kakata, CB Dunbar Hospital in Bon County, Lutheran, the current hospital in Zoso Lofa County, Government Hospital in Buchanan, Fishtown Hospital in River G. And he's providing medical supplies to this hospital. People were in the past using the torchlight from the cell phone to perform surgery. And he's providing generator to provide some type of assistance to this hospital. And he says to you, don't talk about it. This is something that we ought to do as a Liberian and somebody who has Liberia at heart. What does that say to you, Steve?
Well, let me say this. Since you've been knowing me before, since you've been there, you see, we have to understand that we're all different in nature and as humans. You understand? And not everybody will do good and want to talk about it. As a matter of fact, people who mean well don't do good to get good. They do good because it is good to do good and it is the right thing to do. Yes, it is the right thing to do. They do good. But you see, our people have been trained in the mindset of this. And this is where some of us come in to try to retrain the minds of our people. That, hey, somebody don't have to do this for you before you do this. Understand that this is what you need to do. So Mr. Cummins will not, I will say this to you, that's his style. He will not come in public. He will not go and discuss what he has done. Even when you push him to the wall, he will not talk about it easily. He will not. And I think that is humbling. I think that is humanitarian. I think that is the right thing to do. I think Mr. Cummins demonstrates leadership in that because Mr. Cummins had been like Jawia, who told Ambassador Baka to behave because he helped Mr. Ambassador Baka to some extent. Oh, Canada, we're in trouble. Canada, a lot of political leaders there, a lot of people that need out there. You understand? But the truth of the matter is, Mr. Garley, this is what we should do. Let's be humbling in what we do. Let's honor one another. Let's provide services to one another without any benefit.
And there's somebody who does not even have an identity. You know, there's no picture to your name. Makato Dibak Kangaten, you are a complete liar, Mr. Host. Listen, I have no reason to lie. I'm not in the pocket of any of these politicians, including the government of Liberia. When I get off the radio, I go and push carton and drive my taxi and do what I have to do to survive, keep roof over the heads of the family, and provide job opportunity for the people in Liberia. What do you do? Then you just sit down here and praise sing to somebody who you don't have the opportunity or the privilege to talk to. Again, whether you are from the government, CDC, you're from the opposition, wherever you come from, our platform is open to everybody, and that's why we are here as in the middle. You know, we spend $50,000 to $60,000 of our own money to provide this platform, this radio station that you see here. We spend our own. We work hard for this. No government official, no politician will tell you, say they help us to provide the equipment that we have here. So somebody just, just speak loosely. Talk about something that you have no idea about. My man, we are way over our time. I will ask you to just give us your parting comments as we call this a night. But as always, I want to say a big thanks to you, my brother, for coming out and in being very bold. Whether you disagree with your party, you come in and speak the truth all the time. And I have a lot of respect for you, Mr. Bowler. Your closing statement. Conclude what you were, and then you can give us your closing statement.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. Let me say this. We'll have disagreements. We will. That's a must. That's a must. Let nobody fool anybody. Say everybody will just be okay. Everything will just be fine. That's not true. As a matter of fact, that's where we all come to learn, to honor, and respect one another. But one thing I want to say to the Liberian people, especially to the young people, you have the opportunity to call the shots. You have the opportunity. If you choose in your personal life not to be honest, that's fine. But please don't do it to the public life to the detriment of other people. In other words, don't compromise the benefit of the masses, of the people. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's not the right way to go. History don't remember people who do that. History never does that. History never does that. And so I want to challenge all the young people, including my brothers and my sisters who are in the CDC, who support the CDC. I want to challenge you. Let's hold our leaders accountable. And this is why I said my focus is not on George Weah anymore. George Weah, I know what he can do. I know what he will do. I can be sleeping like that. You wake me up. I will tell you the next thing George Weah will do, or the next thing this government will do. But the most dangerous people are those who are in the opposition, who are today behaving as though there is nothing wrong. And when you call them out, you get a couple of the supporters who just got a mentality that they must praise and worship. You can't be 30 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old and be praising another man. Shame on you or another woman. You need to get with the program and get serious. That being said, Mr. Garley, this is what I want to say. It will take all of us to make this CPP to work. But at the same time, it will take all of us to hold each other accountable. And if anybody thinks, because somehow we can come, and be cool and be professional and be like this, we allow people to slide by. That's a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie, Mr. Garley. You can trust me on that. Even my best friend misbehaves, that compromise the interest of the people. I will come out and talk it. I don't have no time for that. Because I owe nobody loyalty. I owe the Liberian people loyalty. Liberia is a very good country, Mr. Garley. Liberia is a very good country. But the people will break the cycle. We will break the cycle. We will break the cycle. The people should understand. This is why God allows some of us, we the country people, children, to travel, to come get exposure and get education to some extent. We'll break the cycle. Even if it costs for our life to be inside, we'll be inside. But we'll break the cycle. We will set the path right for our children and the next generation. We are sick and tired of seeing the children and suffering in our country. We'll not go back into the cycle. So I'm saying it to the opposition. Me not the opposition, me are on. I'm not on John. We are there again. I don't get time for that. Because I know that when I change, there is no hope when it comes to the CDC level. I'm on the opposition. They better put themselves together. But there was an important question you never asked me. But maybe you want another segment, but I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting for your signal. Because for me, I don't want to leave anything. I don't want to leave anything untouched. I don't.
Okay. Let me ask you the question.
Yes.
I think we can have a few minutes here tonight. You keep stressing about the opposition, and there's this young man who is very influential on the social media, and he is demanding that he be a part of the opposition. As a matter of fact, he wants us saying in this as it relates to the opposition. And Henry Costa is saying that he has to play a very important role as it relates to the opposition. And when we listen to Mr. Costa yesterday, he said he was going to be the one to to host and bring the people in, the opposition, including all of the political parties. And today, when the collaboration met, or the four collaborating political parties met, we didn't see Henry Costa. Henry Costa, believe it or not, according to him, the opposition need him more than he needs the opposition. I don't know if that's the question you wanted me to ask.
What, Mr. Garley, you've said a lot of different things, but let's get to, because for me, I address behaviors, actions, words, and things. I don't address people, because I think once we address the human being, once we address the behavior of the human being, we have to either adapt or make some changes. So let's get to the statements.
Henry Costa has paid his due. There's no doubt when it comes to Liberian politics.
Okay.
When it comes to speaking out for the voiceless in our community.
Okay.
Henry Costa has helped both the opposition, or in fact the current administration, in his delivery.
Okay.
So why don't you think that Henry Costa is valid when it comes to the establishment of the opposition?
So it goes back again to the mindset of, people think that they must be rewarded. That's what it goes back to. Mr. Ashford Garley, before Henry Costa came on the radio, you were on the radio. As a matter of fact, a big contributor. So let me ask you this open question here today. Do you think because you were on the radio, held Charles Taylor and other government officials accountable, even before Henry Costa, any other person could emerge on the radio, we should make you senator?
I mean, not really.
We should make you representative? We have to graduate from the mindset of, if you sign up for a job, you are a radio talk show host, what do you think is your duty? Your duty is to do what you are doing. So when you do what you are doing, you can't expect us to pay you for what you are doing. You understand? I go to job, I go to my work, I go to work. That's what I'm expected to do. When I do what I'm expected to do, there should be an extra reward, or I feel I should come to the table now and make this deal. But let me say this though. Let me say this on that statement that Henry Costa made, and this idea that the opposition need Henry Costa. Let me say this. In as much that the opposition needs everybody because that number game here, let no man fool himself that he own monopoly of the Liberian people. That is a lie. That is a lie. And I can say this, and we can provide the data. Maybe Henry Costa is just talking, but the data has not proven that Henry Costa is single-handedly able to make anybody to win election in Liberia. Go back to 2017. It has never happened. So you see, people who don't understand the issue when it comes to qualitative and quantitative issue, people who don't understand the numbers, they sit and just make noise. You think when somebody come on Facebook Live and you get 5,000 people watching you or 3,000 people watching you, you think those people are your supporters? There's a difference between supporters and followers. Let me break it down before I leave. Followers are people who just want to hear from you. That's it. Supporters are people who are there, regardless of what you say or what you do. So let's get this clear. If I have 500 followers, You, Mr. Garley, have 1,000 followers. If I come up and I say I want to raise 5,000, or I want to raise 500, the 500 followers I got, if all of them will give a certain amount of money, let's say dollar to 500, it will end up to 500 exactly, right? But if I cannot raise that 500 and I raise short than that 500, what it tells me from a quantitative and a qualitative point of view, what you know what it tells me? It tells me that the 500 people I got, they are not my supporters, they are followers because they're not committed to me. So let's transition that into the Liberian politics. Henry Costa numbers have not been able to transition. They have not been able to prove from a data standpoint that he is able to win an election. Now, people liking you is different from people supporting you. People liking is different.
Henry Costa was very instrumental in helping Darius Jalom being a senator in Montserrat.
So anybody can Anybody can take the credit. Because a lot of people were very instrumental. You were instrumental as well. Anybody can take the credit. Look, Mr. Garley, let's be factual here. And I'm not discrediting Henry Costa's work or what he has done. I'm not discrediting that. But you see, it is important that we don't impose this mindset in people's head that with all them they are indispensable, with all them this can happen, and we start to make people to over-inflict themselves and people get pompous. We must not do that. We must not do that. This is why even today when I saw Mo Ali chairing that meeting, I had a problem with it. You know what? It is time that we bring new people on board. There are women over there, there are girls, there are women that could have been there chairing that meeting, there are independent people that could have done it. We are tired of seeing the same old faces. Listen. If we are going to progress, we must give other people chance and opportunity too. You understand what I'm saying? And this is not against anybody, but the truth of the matter is this though. You can't put old wine in a new bottle and expect something different. You can't do it. We must change this mindset that this person, when a person is not here, people can win. I want to say to Henry Costa, he is emphatically wrong, whether he supports the CPP or not. If the CPP is united, they will win without him. So you need to cut that thing out, talk about social contract. You need to cut it and get serious with the business. If he will come and support, let him come and support and start putting prerequisites. My question to him is this. We got Martin Colley, we got maybe Sekou, we got other people. Why if everybody came and said they want to provide their own social contract, you know what kind of chaos we'll be yelling into? What is this nonsense? What kind of precedent we are trying to set? It is okay for him to make known what he wants. It is okay. But to make it look as though it's a demand or it must be done when this is not done, this will not happen, we could care less. And I'm not going to bite my tongue. Costa is my friend. I don't have a problem with him. But he needs to cut that off.
You shared a platform with Henry Costa just...
Oh, yeah. That's my boy.
Just a day or two ago.
Yes. So
why haven't you, why can you pick up the phone and say, friend and brother, listen, you are approaching the thing the wrong way. Instead of coming on yet where Costa perhaps is not listening. Why don't you do that, Steve?
Very good.
Costa, listen.
That's a good question. That's a good question. You see, when people send a message to create confusion in the public, you must send a message as well to clear the confusion. If Costa wanted input from people, Costa would call people and say, gentlemen, this is what I'm thinking, or this is how I feel. What do you guys think? That's what people do. You see, this idea of going behind the door and talking to this person, when this person is consistently doing things that is wrong, and when he read it the way he would say, I don't listen to nobody. I'm not going to listen to nobody. Let me say this to you, Mr. Garley. The day you do wrong, Mr. Garley, I'm not calling you behind closed door to discuss it with you. The day you deliberately choose to think that you are an ally and you want to do something that against the people or create confusion or chaos, you can rest assured, whether you invite me on a show or not, the day I go somewhere that topic come out, I will discuss it. I will not hold back. I will not hold back. My eating pen not in nobody's house. It's not in anybody's house. Let me say that I will bring weight. My eating pen not in anybody's house. I will say it. Look, Sekou Kane is my friend. You know that. I tell Sekou every day. The day he does wrong, the day he allows CDC or anybody to compromise or something, I will be the first person to expose him. I don't have no time for that. Anything, again, I will say, anything that will bring confusion or compromise the interests of the people, I'm against it. I don't care who it is. So I'm not calling nobody behind closed door, Mr. Garley. I'm not. If Costa knows the importance of certain people, then he will call and consult with people before making these kind of vocal things that have the propensity to create noise. So let me ask you the question again. I will ask the Liberian people for them to keep that in mind. Mr. Garley, Martin Colley got a following. Other people got following. There are other pressure groups in Liberia as well. There is what other guy from Emmanuel Gongwe. There is even Yeke Koluba. If everybody were to present a social contract before supporting somebody, do you know what kind of noise you bring in? Look, we need to get this thing right. And if Costa will support, he can make his point known. But Costa must not say this has to be what it is. No, he can say it like that. That is absolutely wrong. And I will urge him to retract his statement because he is a leader. He needs to retract his statement and stop this controversy. There's no time for this. We need to move forward. This noise, we need to move forward. Truly speaking, nothing against the brother. He's my brother. We cool. We are cool. I got nothing personal against him. But I don't shy away from the truth. Mr. Garley, I don't. So let us not create an environment for noise. Let us not create it. Let us not. That's how you see the ICOP is created today. This small noise, then we will start to overlook them and we don't shun them and cut them off. Why if another group can say they want to do social contract too? You will say the other group not get a right to do social contract? Look, we need to start thinking way in front there and not just be making decisions based on emotions. We need to think about what we say in public and how we say it. So I say it today, and I say it is wrong. The same way how I say, if you want to address other people, address the issue and don't disrespect people, it is wrong. That whole social contract concept is wrong. There is no need for that, and there is no need for that. Let Costa come and support. He's welcome to support.
Well, 3 hours ago, Henry Costa said that he's gone back to what he used to do. Henry Costa, the voice of the voiceless. He's not in the corner of any political party. He is not going to begin to speak as Henry Costa for the poor people and not owe loyalty to any political party. Yes, he supports the ALP, but as late as just 3 hours ago, I'd listened to him say that. He said he would not go on to be the voice of the voiceless and not for any political party and not for the government, but he had to speak in behalf of the people. Steve.
So guess what? I will commend him for doing that, because you know what I mean? That is his job. That's part of his responsibility, his job. There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, Mr. Garley, I support Costa if he does the right thing. And I support you if you do the right. So there is nothing wrong with that. No, look, it's not a matter of contention. But what I would say to you and to the Liberian people, this inconsistency in our deliberation can create problems. You can't say one day you support this, one day you will not support it. Today you will support it, today you will not support it. When you emotionally having issues, you come out, you say any kind of thing you want to say. Oh, when you're not emotionally having issues, then you won't work with the people, or you work with the people, and you lay all these conditions out. Let me say this. Those days where they used to say, oh, I want my father used to sing, oh, you came on mine, you came on power, we'll vote for you. It will not happen again. If you do wrong, we encourage our people, we educate them, we inform them to not vote for you. If you do wrong against the people, and if you come and you think you are absolute, and you think that, hey, well, I mean, this can happen, guess what happened? I see some people don't understand the issue. They are still in the slavery mentality wherein they think they must owe loyalty to certain people. Listen, you are a free man and you are a free woman. You owe no loyalty to nobody beside God, and you owe loyalty to your country, to do the right thing for your country. So I want to encourage the Liberian people. Let's be free from the bondage. Don't let nobody tell you, say, oh, let's do this one. Let's do this one. We got to sign this other one. We got to sign the other one. There are ways people can present things. You make your case. I will tell you the truth. You make your case. I would have advised Costa, this whole issue about social issue, it's not necessarily a bad thing to recommend, to present recommendation or proposal. It's not a bad thing. But when you make it as a mandate, when you make it as a requirement, it becomes a problem. So you can even be right, but when you make you can make your own right wrong.
Steve, what do you also say to what Costa said to? I mean, he said it on his show, and he also said that about a few hours ago when he appeared on another platform. He said he has a contract that the opposition will have to sign, and that contract is you have to commit to him and sign his contract as to some of the things that he wants. If you don't sign his contract, if you don't do those things, he will not support you.
My question to answer that particular question is, who is he? He's not involved in Liberian people. He's not involved in Liberian people. And so his contract, so guess what happened? Day after tomorrow, Martin Colley comes on and says he got on a contract too. Prophet King comes on and says he got on a contract too. Sekou say he got on a contract too. Shidishes come out too and say we'll support you, but we got on a contract too. What is this mess we're trying to set the country up?
I get contract. Me a businessman. I want to do business with all of you. You come and advertise on my radio station. Let me pay the people that are working for being Liberia. I'm not part of your government. I'm not part of your political party. I'm here to do my job as a businessman. That's it.
So guess what, Mr. Garley? Yeah. So guess what? Let me just be very, very frank with you. I think, again, I want to be clear, because I know that there are some people who don't understand the context of issue when people speak. Either they take it personal, right, they go and use it as gossip or lie. But I don't have a problem with that, though, because the more you talk about me, the more you gossip about me, that you can sleep. From here, I will sleep very well. I will eat very good. I will still be healthy. Tomorrow when I appear on any show, I'll be healthy. I don't have a problem with that. But here is the thing, though. The idea of social contract is never bad. It's not bad to say, oh, let's propose, let's do this, let's do that, let's recommend. You know, you use words that are more appealing, that are attractive, or so forth. But again, when you come and make it seem as though you got monopoly, nothing can work with CDC. It will not work in the new government that coming. I want to let the Liberian be serious about this thing. We must stand up that nobody should have monopoly in Liberia. Even when the president misbehaves, we must tell the president he misbehaving. There is nothing wrong with it. That's accountability. So I will say to Costa, who is my brother, if you listen to the tape, or some of his supporters who I know for sure will carry the message, you'll carry the message well. You need to retract that statement. That's not how people negotiate. That's not how you come to the negotiation table. That's not how you behave. This is the interest of the people. And if you are in the interest of the people, you must do it respectfully as well. There are ways you address things, Mr. Garley. Let me tell you something. If I want certain things to be done, and I want it to be done a certain way, there are ways you go about it strategically without even creating noise and chaos, and sometimes meet your agenda and do what you need to do. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes the way you approach things or the way you go about it, you know what it does? It makes the thing automatically wrong on the spot. It does. And when we say some of these things, some people think that we hate people. Guess what happened? Anybody wants to think that I'm jealous or I hate this person, I hate that person, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. You are right to think how you want to think. You feel how you want to feel. I have no issues with that. I'm not here to discourage you to feel how you want to feel or think how you want to feel. I will say as it is. That social contract issue and making it as a mandatory issue. Costa can keep it. He can keep the social contract. He can keep it, no problem. He can keep it and carry it to the COP, and they can work on it, then no problem. But let me just say it to him.
What were you doing in 1997?
Me?
Yeah.
You just trying to give my age to the people, but let me tell you what I was doing in 1997.
Yeah.
By 1997, I was so let me calculate something quick. In 1997, I was in Ivory Coast. I think I was just going on football field to support, to see how people can play football. I was very interested in it. But I was in school. I was very young. Very young. I will not call numbers, because if I call numbers, somebody will be able to calculate my age, and I'm not here to disclose my age to the public. But I was very young. Very, very young. But guess what happened, Ashford? Right. I used to hear your name. That I know. No, to be very frank. And I told you the first day I spoke to you on the phone. I must, in all honesty, Costa has done a good job in what he does. And we can't take it from him. You have done a good job. But it doesn't mean that we can use this as a way to bamboozle our ways. We shouldn't do that. We should not do that. And I will say that to you, Mr. Garley. And I know how much behind closed door when we talk, how much, even as a big brother to me, you are very humble in how you do things. People might have problems with you, but you've always been humble to me, very respectful of me, and it's neutral, and you see how it works. And if we can do this, even the issue of sitting on the table and presenting some of these things, it's not anything. Any Liberian can say, oh, I want to present it as a recommendation to the CPP or whatever it is. But just the fact that you say, if this not happening, I will not do this, guess what? It will not happen. So COP should get ready for the world jump around, Costa won't jump around. He won't support our business. We're not worried about that. But it will not happen. From the way he presented it, I think it was disrespecting. I think it was demeaning, and he should retract his word and rephrase his statement. The issue of social contract is not necessarily bad. I will say it again. It's not necessarily bad. But you can't come and demand people. He is not one of the political leaders in Liberia. He is not. I don't care who want to say what. He is not. So, I mean, that's an issue that no contention in it. We cannot allow people to continue to do the same thing. At some point, we need to put stop to it. We need to, because there will be another young man that will rise up again and decide and say, oh, he want to ban grandma for them to do this because he been doing. Why if Martin, as typical example, why if Martin Colley comes and say he wants a social contract? What do we say? And Martin Colley is an activist. You see what I'm saying? So let's not set this precedent. This is a wrong precedent. Let's not go down that route. If you have a recommendation, yes, you can make your recommendation. There is nothing wrong with it. Just do it respectfully. It's okay to recommend. It's okay to propose. Nothing is wrong with it. But when you make it as a mandatory thing or as a mandate that this not happen, this will not happen, then keep your support. It's not any problem. Keep your support. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Steve Bowler, I asked that question because in 1997, in the whole country, we have less than 100 people with cell phones in that country. And we were only 4 people on the radio that had cell phones. Martin Brown, Fred Bass, Ashford, Garley, and T. Max. We don't go around bragging about these things. There
Right.
was no internet. There was no the Facebook Live. You had no choice but to listen to us, and that's what. If you go anywhere in the world, the name Ashford is giant. Got it. By the time you say the name, you will know. And they say, "Oh, I think I said that." I said, "No, you don't know me. You probably heard the name or you know of me, but we don't brag about these things, my brother. You know, at the end of the day, we have to hold our leaders accountable. George Weah was very successful when he played professional soccer. The Liberian people say, you know what, Senegal people giving us hard time. And this man who claimed to love the country gave him the chair.
Yes.
Today, George Weah is president of Liberia. And people who supported George Weah, people who find themselves in CDC are suffering. George Weah made a lot of money when he played professional soccer. He squandered his money. He regained his wealth at the expense of Liberia and the poor Liberian people. And today, George Weah is seeing himself as the guy who wants to transform Liberia. How many investors have you seen thinking of going to Liberia long before COVID-19? And again, I never spoke to comments before, never met the man, but just by being on here tonight, people in places where Cummins helped are giving me current data of what Cummins has done and continue to do for Liberia. Out of his pocket. George Weah did not inherit the money he has right now and doing the projects that he's undertaking. Steve Bowley, you're live on Bridge Radio Africa tonight. When your political leader that you support do have the opportunity to lead our country, we will be right here. I am not going to be asking Alexander Cummings for a job. I will not be asking George Weah for a job. But we, as media practitioners, we will continue to have our people out there asking the tough questions. And that's why we'll have people working for British Radio Africa in Liberia, and we're paying them from our pockets. And we are blessed that we're in one of the best countries where when I leave the radio, I can go to work, earn some money so that I can pay my people in Liberia on time. They get paid on the 3rd of every month from my pocket. And that's why I feel proud sometimes. I come on here and put up the cash app. I say, you know what? Any little donation will help. Because you know what? You have 4 to 6 people working for you. One person controls a family of 5, 6. He has to feed his family. And with the coming in of the pandemic, we have to go extra mile to send them the, food items and some other things.
Right.
Enough. And for this president to tell the people that he has on lockdown that you will have some food on the 23rd, and for you to have some type of conflict between the WFP and the IMF, and for the commerce minister to come out and say, you know what, I don't think there's a possibility that food will be distributed. This is not fair. We live on hustle. When we were in Liberia, 3 o'clock, that's when your hustle starts. But now people are asked to leave the street at 3 o'clock.
Right.
How do I look my 5-year-old daughter in the face and when she said, Daddy, I'm hungry. Papa, I'm hungry. And I have no answer. I don't know how to feed my daughter. We have kids here in America who eat at will. They have options as to what they want to eat. But how many of our children in Liberia can do those things? You have the privileged few. You have people that are Kara's grade and Jefferson Koji and them that used to walk around with the same breed for 1 week, that have smelling feet. Today, they call themselves big shots. But the poor people continue to suffer. And you call this love for country? My brother, give me your parting comments, man, so we can call this a night.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. Thanks for the opportunity. And like I've told you before, as much as I can, I will be available whenever you call on me. But I want to remind the Liberian people that nobody can give you power unless you regain your power. Whatever George Weah is doing today was the Liberian people that gave him power. So this is why I say continuously to everybody. Even if Mr. Kome does wrong today, I will call him out. I don't have no time for that. I don't subscribe to prison worship. I can never join a prison worship team. I can never laugh for another person. Nope, I'm not part of that thing. I will never be part of it. So if you want me to support you, do the right thing. If you call me into whatever you are doing and I'm able to support, I will come there. But in a nutshell, Mr. Garley, I think it's a new dawn. We are going to make strides to do the right things, and we are going to support the right things. I think going forward, there is hope. I've never been hopeful, but I'm hopeful today. And I was reading somebody comment, and I just want to make something. Normally, I don't make comment, but let me just say this thing. Somebody said, but nobody know you in Liberia. Let me get that person a good news. Well, guess what? You know me now. You never knew me. You know me now because you know what I mean? You are able to see my name. You are able to see my face. And you know this face, you know this name. I want you to get used to it because you will be seeing this face around for a very long time. Very, very long time. Thank you so much, Mr. Garley.
Thank you, Steve Boley. Thank you for being a part of the show tonight. I want to go back to Information Highway where Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts is standing back to give us her partner comment. Mrs. Roberts.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Garley. Good evening, Mr. Boley. Thank you for your passion and your candid statements. We want to say thank you to our viewing audience. Thank you all for your participation in your comments and, of course, just being here to listen. We thank you again. Please visit Bridge Radio Africa for more information and entertainment. Thank you. Have a great evening. And it was a great discourse. Good night.
Thank you. And this is one of my all-time favorites. Morris Dolly. Making his presence known tonight on British Radio Africa, folks. I'm afraid that's all the time we'll have to be with you. God willing. We will be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. Until then, folks, please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises. There's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone. Because you can't hide your nakedness from beefing bucket. When God bless you, don't say that medicine. When white men know you friend black man. This has been yours truly. This is the brother who doesn't eat iron. But he's definitely stronger than the lion. And that's why he's called the giant. Ashford Garley. One carpet. The golden voice of Liberia. Have a good night.